Welcome. Welcome to a... I see, I was busy over here. Da-da-da! Okay, I'm okay. Welcome to a kindler and gentler distancing curmudgeons. I was just unmuting the buttons here. Hello, it's Jason's over here on his
Hello,
webcam.
everybody.
On his webcam. Now I can turn you down a little bit. You're coming through real loud. I botched that intro. I was actually just getting my beverage ready. Of course. Right? Sure. I'm hoping that the audio's coming through okay on the YouTube. It sounded pretty bad. I'm just saying. So, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Oh, good. Okay. Good. So, yeah. This is despite that intro, it's kindler, gentler. Distancing curmudgeons. We still got a little of the biohazard over here. Right?
That's right.
You know. And I got to get I was trying to get my beverage going ahead of time. You're a little close to the camera. You could.
Sorry, I'm using the.
Yeah.
I'm trying to share this far and wide.
Oh, okay. Well, I have a beverage here that I'm getting going. Today's beverage is Trader Joe's brewed ginger beer, non-alcoholic sparkling beverage. I recommend it. It's kind of like Reed's, but it's Trader Joe's brand.
Gotcha.
Anyway, it's tasty though. Oh, that's good. Ginger is good. Okay. So actually, I'm going to check here and see what's going on. Yeah. I've been so busy with other people's stuff, so I'm just kind of like, I'm like, I'm just curious. It's like, I wasn't getting any audio on YouTube or whatever. Oh, not those guys. Oh, YouTube's making me crazy. It's making me crazy. They're all making me crazy. And of course now everyone's home, so everyone's doing their thing. Oh, here we are live. Is it? Yeah, it's a little clicky. I wasn't getting any audio on YouTube or whatever. It's a little clicky. So sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. Facebook's not doing that. So there you go. Facebook's not doing it. So if you're watching, go to Facebook. There's a NuzBox thing there. The audio's better there. But you're here in your box now.
I'm in my box.
Yeah, you're looking good.
I'm in my cubicle.
Yeah. Just don't move too far to the left or right.
Right. I'm going to stay right here. I'm frozen.
Because you're in a box,
I'm in a box.
Just like the news. But it's looking good. It's looking good. We wanted to do that earlier when we started this, but it wasn't working. So you had to get a new webcam.
Oh, yeah.
And a new mic, right?
New mic. Yeah. New webcam, new mic, new swing arm, even an LED light off here to the side.
Yeah. You're coming in great.
Yeah.
I like it.
So far it's working out.
Yeah. Exactly. So, and what'd you get?
What do you mean, what did I get?
Like the webcam, what'd you get?
I don't know.
You have no idea. I love it.
I have no idea. That's
what I asked you before. It's like, so what'd you get? You got your Logitech there, your whatever. I don't know what other... I'm just not up on webcam technology because I use other technology, broadcast technology. But, the only one I could come up with was Logitech, right?
It's from some company called Able Gaming.
Able Gaming. Okay, there you go. This is an Able Gaming webcam right here.
Yep.
And the mic you don't know either.
Oh, all of it came through Able Gaming.
Oh, is the mic Able Gaming too?
Yep, and the LED light and everything, and so.
Oh, so it's all Able Gaming.
Right. It came as a package deal.
On Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Able Gaming on Amazon.
Courtesy of Jeff Bezos.
You're welcome, Able Gaming, for the free plug.
That's right.
No, well, the thing is you can. Able Gamers charity. No, that's not it. Well, is that the brand or the store? Or who knows? It's just, or that's the label, right?
That's the brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I typed it in and nothing came up in Google. Now we're missing you.
Here we go. How to set up your Able Gaming streaming kit.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. There's these manufacturers that go off and do their own thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the way it's been in technology forever. It's like, oh, here's the, Logitech or whatever. And Logitech's really good. I use Logitech keyboards. Can't go wrong with Logitech. I've used Logitech since the 80s, man. Since they were making mice. You cannot go wrong with Logitech. I think Logitech's good stuff. Love their wireless all-in-one keyboards, which I use around here. But, then they go out in places like China and they make an off-brand, It's just like, I'm out of shot. It's just like this Trader Joe's brewed ginger beer, which tastes as good as Reed's, but it's like half the price. So that's how it works. That's quarantine thinking.
That's right.
This is how you got to think during the oncoming things.
Well, when you get in lockdown mode, you have this certain sort of quarantine mentality, right?
Well, in tech, there's always here's the thing. In tech, it would be like, okay, you want to build a computer, right?
Yeah.
And typically now, what do people build computers for anymore? Gaming. They used to do it back in the day for gaming. But, it's like, ooh, I'm going to build this hot computer. I mean, I would build mine for multimedia more than gaming. Go figure. But, right? So the thing is you build your own computer. Right. Like you could go to Dell or whatever, or Gateway back in the day or whatever. I'll order one, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But, I was just checking the recorder. But if you built one, it was slick. It was really nice, and you could build it with these parts and put it in a gray box. Although now with the gaming stuff, it's really, now it's really intense. But back in the day, you could spend half your money and get a much better computer. And that's just the way tech always worked. Yeah. So, it's like generic. It's like, it's like you go to the store. They're like the drugs or whatever. Although I hear people say, well, the drugs aren't the same or whatever. Well, I don't know. I just know that when I go and let's put a little Spock here. I just know that when I go and get like cold medicine, like you might get these days, it's like you get like the expensive, brand, and then next to it is the Walgreens brand, right? It's
House brand, yeah.
Yeah, man. I was like, yeah, it's all the same, right? I don't know if it's all the same. I've heard people like with prescriptions and stuff, the generic does. I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't know either.
But I always, I always get, I mean, we had. I wish they would still make this. The earliest part when they did this back in the 80s, maybe it started in the late 70s, but I remember that in the 80s, stores did the white label brand.
The generic, right?
Yeah, generic.
Yeah, the white can of beer, and his white can just said beer.
Beer. I know, right? Yeah, it'd be like you'd be drinking, and it's a white label, and it says beer. They got to bring that back. I think they should bring that back because let me tell you, hipster. I guess we call them Zoomers now. Is that what we're calling them, Zoomers? Are they using Zoom? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not millennials, it's Zoomers.
They're not boomers, they're Zoomers.
Yeah, I think that's the next generation. But after millennials, they would go for that, don't you think?
I think so, yeah.
Because they'd be looking at that beer going, what font is that? Is that Arial? No, I think that's Helvetica Neue. Oh, yeah. Look at the kerning here. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we would clean up if we opened up a shop and just had like a white T-shirt that says shirt.
Well, there was something like that. I don't know if the place is still there, but Sizzle Pie on Burnside.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Next to it, they opened up this mart, and it was completely like millennials hipster mart. I mean, it was just it was weird. First of all, how can I describe it? Like, I never went inside because I was way too scared to go inside.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's like, ooh, that place is not for me.
Are you gonna? I mean, for all you know, you could come out wearing a man bun.
Yo. Well, you know, now that you mention it, since we aren't going to be getting haircuts for 6 months, I might actually end up with a man bun, because it's not going to be happy. But anyway, I went in there, or I looked through the window, and I guess the only way I could describe it is if you look at this, it's like the mini mart. I should look it up. If you look inside of it, it's like, it looks like when you're in a game, you know, like whatever game you're playing, like, what is it, Grand Theft Auto or something like it, something that takes place in the city, not like a fantasy game where you're fighting dragons with swords and stuff, but a game where it's like I'm in downtown Portland, Oregon, you know, I'm going to drive fast and shoot people and do all sorts of horrible stuff. And then you come to the mart. This looks like a mart in a game, or a mart that you would see a picture of like in a Lego set. Like, you know how stuff is stacked perfectly? Yeah. Like, it was like, you looked in there and you're like, can you even touch anything or buy anything?
Everything's symmetrical.
Yeah. You know when you go to Safeway and you walk in the soup, especially right now, and you walk in the soup section and it's just all, you know, oh, there's a dented. Safeway's gonna love me for saying this. Safeway, whatever. Albertsons. Oh, same company. Kroger. You know, the supermarket. What's that place? Walmart. I don't know. Where they sell super groceries. You know, and you walk over to the shelf and, like, you know, there's dented can on its side of Progresso lentil soup. You know, somebody's put their dirty diaper.
Right, the Richard refuse. It's just like, there's a diaper and maybe like just some bar of soap that, you know, like, oh wow, baloney. What's baloney doing here?
Now, see, if you see the diaper and all that stuff, you know it's a bit. Just get out of the store. That's probably not a place you want to go to. But even the nice stores, big supermarkets, there's like stuff all strewn over the shelves, and it's like, oh, what's the ramen doing over here, and the hot dogs, and the, you know, it's all messed up. This place was not like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Like, I don't know what you do, or like if you could go in there and get something, and they just had like beverages. What the heck? It was called like Mini Mart. You know, almost just like Scandinavian.
Oh.
You know?
Okay. Yeah.
Like just look at it, don't touch it. You know?
Like someone went to Amsterdam and they saw a Mini Mart over there and they decided, I'm gonna build one in Portland.
Yeah, I don't know what let me I want to see if I can find it and see if I can find a picture of it. And it might not be there anymore, because there was a fire in that building. Yeah, here it is, Willamette Week. Oh, this was 2016.
Oh. Wow.
Is it Max? Is that it? No. That ain't it.
So I got questions though. I mean, if they have this mini mart down there, I'm kind of wondering what sort of departments do they have in there? Do they got like the man bun section next to the flannel?
Here's a picture of it right here.
And it's, you know,
it's a little bit less, you know.
Don't get it mixed up with PBR.
Yeah, here, hang on, let me get it for you. It's you know, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little. Well, yeah, but those back shelves there. Again, it may not be around anymore. I don't even know it's around. But this is from Willamette Week, which, by the way, if you want to talk about places that are stressing out, Willamette Week, Portland Mercury, they were one of the first to announce, like, all those publications that actually print. No print. They're not printing because of all this. And but the worst thing about it, like Portland Mercury, and I want to say this, I think they had to lay people off. They make their revenue by publicizing events, right? Concerts, shows, things like that. Where are you going to go to find out about events? Oh, well, let's go look at the Portland Mercury. Just pick one up. Or you could go to their website. They got an event calendar. Well, if everyone's shutting down events, they're not paying for ads, placement for their events, and then they're not paying their journalists. That's really messed up. Really bad. So,
feel for them.
Yeah. Oh. Here's a picture of it, though. Probably can't see it, but you can kind of see it here online. It has like like two mountains, an M and an M, and they're like red and blue. Oh. And then kind of Scandinavian. Oh, and over here it says coffee, drinks, some wine, off to the back. Kind of IKEA-ish off to the back. Healthy, salty, sweet.
Are they all on IKEA shelves?
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, that is so...
Kind of.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, real hip. I don't know if the place is in business anymore. It was next door to... Here's the... It just looks... Yeah, it's kind of IKEA-ish and kind of... But I don't know. I don't know. This was from 2016.
European Utilitarian.
September 2nd, 2016. Wow, it's been that long. Updated on the 3rd. A sweet aisle, a salty aisle. Okay, well, I'm weak enough with the pop-ups.
You'll find me in the salty aisle.
Oh, they had kombucha taps.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, kombucha taps. Yeah, I mean, and the signage all looks like IKEA, kind of.
Yeah.
With that big, weird Helvetica font, and then the red line, and then the details in the bottom in a smaller Helvetica. Oh, here's a good one. Here's what I'm talking about. Here, I'll throw this one up on the screen here if you can see. Whoa. Branded kombucha. Here we go. Take a look at that. There we go. So there's a picture of what I'm talking about with all the shelves universally lined up. That's all kombucha. Tons and tons of kombucha.
Right.
You ever drink kombucha?
I have no idea if I've ever ingested any of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Ever drink vinegar? Inadvertently?
Inadvertently.
Ever have a salad, Jason?
Maybe at a Jungle Juice party one time. I don't know.
Ever have a salad with oil and vinegar on it?
Oh, sure.
All right, you've had kombucha then. No, maybe not really, but it's a little bit different. But
like if you go in the Subway and they put a little oil and vinegar on it, is that where,
Yeah.
Like,
it's probiotic, but it's vinegar or something. I don't know. Now they have spiked kombucha. There's something out there. Yeah, where they put the liquor in there. You know what's funny is when I was I don't know, under the weather, and I don't know how to get into that under the weather thing because we don't know anything unless you're really, really, really sick, and then hopefully, and I really mean that sincerely, hopefully someone can test you if you're really, really sick, because you should be tested. But anyway, when I was under the weather, I was at one of the markets, and they had rows. They had just reorganized, and they had rows where I would go to get certain food. Now was rows of their own branded kombucha in a can, like a pop can kind of thing. And I bought one because I wasn't feeling well, and it was like ginger kombucha, so I bought one. Okay. Do you know where it is? Sitting in my fridge right now. Still just sitting in my fridge.
Yeah.
I bought that sucker about 2 months ago. Just sitting there. I don't know. I just I could have brought it down to drink it. Ginger.
Right. In case of emergency, break glass, and there's your kombucha.
It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got friends. They all like the kombucha. It's probiotic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like fermented, like kraut and stuff like that.
Sour kombucha.
Pickle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be good for you because it has probiotics in it.
Ah.
If you ever just want to lay something on someone, they're like, yeah, I'm not feeling good. The economy's not doing well. My stocks are, just go probiotics. Probiotics. That'll be it.
We could almost do our own commercial, you know?
Yeah. My hair's falling out. My leg just fell off. You need some probiotics. You know?
Right. If your hair's falling out, you could go to the mini mart and get yourself a man bun, too.
Oh, man. This place actually... Oh, gosh. Yeah, here's the white labeled ice cream. Oh, man. It's just IKEA based, you know? It's just Scandinavian based. Oh, no, did my buddy... Did he design the stuff? He might have designed the logo. There's a really big designer out of... Yeah, that kind of looks like his kind of a logo too. I don't mind the logo actually. It's just an interesting take on things. It's kind of to me like Scandinavian. You know?
Oh yeah.
It has that kind of... I don't even know what that style is called other than Scandinavian.
I like to call it European utilitarian.
Yes, that's what came to mind, utilitarian, but you know, that's what I would call it. You know, I mean, it's like beautiful looking chairs that are well crafted in design, but simple, not ornate. That will hurt your butt in like 5 minutes when you sit on them.
Right.
You can't sit on them. You're just like, that's a beautiful Scandinavian chair. Now I got to get up because my butt's sore.
No. Don't sit on it. You just look at it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah, I mean, you know, some of the chairs, some of them are okay. To be fair. But, yeah. So the place might be closed now. I don't even know. Haven't been over there. Not like we're going out places.
Right.
Even though a sizzle pie would be really good right now. So since we've been doing this, so we had like in this state of Oregon.
Yes.
Which isn't really a state, it's more a state of mind.
Wait. The Billy Joel, you know, New York state of mind. It's now, you know.
Yeah, Oregon's more a Oregon state
Northwest
of mind.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Hey, man.
Oh.
Is that some kombucha you got there?
Oh, I think I drunk too much though. I'm hearing voices, man.
I need to get out my, I don't think I have many wind chimes.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll do that next time. But anyway, since we've been doing this, so last week, the governor of the Oregon State of Mind said people should stay home.
Yeah.
Is that shelter in place? Is that what they said?
Shelter in place, yes.
Is that what it was? I'm getting all the terms wrong. There's distancing, social distancing, shelter in place. We got a whole new terminology coming out.
We do. And
2020.
I got to get used to all of it. Social distancing.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know, but I guess I've already practiced. I practiced that for the last couple decades, right? Social distancing.
Oh, me too.
And,
Yeah, I'm golden. I'm just like, I don't talk to anybody. I don't.
Right. Shelter in place. Okay.
Yeah. So they did that last week in Oregon.
Yeah.
And the weather's not as good this week, unfortunately, but the weather has been fantastic It's been sunny. It's been cold though, cool. But it's been sunny. And so so they have this shelter in place, and then what happened this weekend? Everyone went to the beach. Crowds. No social distancing. It was like, hey, how you doing? But I guess it's kind of like spring break is basically what the deal. This would have been spring break.
Yeah.
Because they were having a problem like that in Florida too, I think. You know.
I think so, right. Yeah, I remember seeing a video. I think it was a mayor or somebody of, I think it's like Fort Lauderdale, and he's on the beach, and he's got this megaphone thing, and he's just screaming at all these college age kids.
Wow.
Get off the beach for the love of God,
Well, what can you do? I mean, it could be Normandy. There's bullets flying. There's Tom Hanks is doing that, and there'll still be kids in bikinis and stuff going, I don't care. It's spring break, man.
Right. No one's gonna get me off this beach.
Surfboards and getting drunk and puking on the beach. Who's that? I think that's Tom Hanks. Doesn't he have the virus thing? I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he's out of quarantine. He's storming the beach, though.
I'm picturing the very end of Planet of the Apes. Charlton Heston is running on the beach. He's on his knees. Yeah. Dear God, and there's some people next to him like, hey, will you apply some lotion?
Yeah.
Dude, we're in the middle of Omega Man here, and
Yeah.
End of the world type scenario.
He's just screaming, "Damn you! You did it!" And then you see him lift up his finger, and it's a bikini.
Right.
All because of spring break. And then the lady on the horse with him is like, "Hey, I'm naked back here. I could use that. Could you toss that back?
I've
been riding around naked on your horse all movie."
Hey, Lady Godiva, can you move?
Exactly.
You're getting in my rays, man.
She was scantily clad, Jason.
She was.
Yes.
Well,
Charlton Heston with a gun on a horse with a scantily clad young woman.
Right.
Pretty much describes the early 70s movies when I was a kid, It was like,
Yeah.
And I know people... So Charlton Heston is problematic, as they would say in the modern times.
Yeah.
And the thing is what are you going to do? It's like, I think his big one is the whole weaponry kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no matter if it's Omega Man, Soylent Green...
well, I'm not talking about his movies. I'm talking about him personally.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, he's what went on to be NRA guy or something like that.
Yeah. So he's problematic,
Yeah.
But I think he doesn't. Well, he's gone now, but he didn't hold the same values as, say, the rest of Hollywood, right?
He was a little against the grain.
Yeah. Another actor that seems to be just like that, who likes to talk to chairs, apparently, is Clint Eastwood.
Right.
So, but like with Charlton Heston, especially now, and these 70s movies that you used to see, like these Omega Man and the Planet of the Apes and the Soylent Green and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, some people may not like that genre. I grew up on this. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
Heston was cool.
Heston was cool. Remember in, I think it was like 1974 or 75, he did that Earthquake.
Was that Irwin Allen?
I think so, yeah. It had like this ensemble cast. George Kennedy's in it, and...
I think that was Irwin Allen.
And...
Did he make that after the Towering Inferno?
Ooh, good question. I don't know.
I gotta look that up. I think Earthquake was
74, I think.
I don't see it listed here. Towering Inferno, Poseidon Adventure. Yeah, it might. It might not be. It might not be Irwin Allen, but it was definitely... Who in the heck did that one? Now you got me going here.
Right.
But this is good because you need movie recommendations, and I've got a few.
That's right. If you're on lockdown, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna check this out here real quick.
Yeah, I want to... Earthquake film. Earthquake. 1974. But yeah,
Yo.
it was like one of those all-star casts.
Right. Ensemble.
Oh, yeah. Directed, produced by Mark Robson, directed by him, with a screenplay by George Fox and Mario Puzo.
Mario Puzo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Mario.
But it kind of, all those disaster movies were kind of out there.
Yeah.
And they were the early version of, here's what people don't understand, in the early to late 70s-ish, I want to say, pre-George Lucas, before Star Wars, okay? There's before Star Wars and after Star Wars. After Star Wars, everything changes because George Lucas has Industrial Light and Magic. He spends all that money on THX and the sound systems in the theater,
Right.
which then goes into the home too. You know, so that's after George Lucas. A seismic shift in the cinema experience, if you want to, so to speak. But before that, there were different versions of that sort of thing. So Earthquake was one of those movies that was in something called Sense-Around, which was like, it was like the early versions of THX.
Right.
So you go to a movie, Earthquake, you go in the theater, Earthquake, I expect to see and hear an earthquake. So they had like basically woofers and speakers, sensor around, around stuff that you take for granted today, stuff that people have in their homes today. But back in the day when you go see a movie in a theater, they had one like little crappy speaker up behind the screen, you know? So all of a sudden now the sound systems get better, and then they have earthquake. Well, we need an earthquake. It's got to be loud and boom, 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 rumbling while you're in the theater. It was to attract you to the theater. Again, all before George Lucas came on the scene, did Star Wars, and now it's a default.
Yeah, is that? I know it's like a real game changer, but it kind of reminds me of like the old movies in the 50s, where they put the little buzzer things under the seat during the monster moves to try to, my gosh.
Yeah, 3D glasses. Sense-Around is a brand name for a process, I didn't know this, developed by Serwin Vega. Is it Serwin Vega? Yeah, I think so. The speaker company, in conjunction with Universal Studios, to enhance the audio experience during the film screenings, specifically for the 1974 film Earthquake. I mean, as a kid, I went to see the Sense-Around films. So I went to see Earthquake, and then the other big film that came out was Midway in Sense-Around. And that was, again, all-star cast, the Battle of Midway.
Yep.
It's like woofer. It's just having woofers and stuff in the theater and I think it was multi-channel.
The thundering boom of the artillery,
Charlton Heston, Ava Gardner, George Kennedy, Lauren Green, Genevieve Bujold. Who by the way, is Genevieve Bujold? She was going to originally be the captain of Voyager before Kate Mulgrew.
Okay.
I believe it was her. Yeah, there's a screen test out there, and it just didn't work. Like, Roddenberry, she didn't get along or whatever, and then they ended up with Kate Mulgrew.
Gotcha.
I was like, let's get that Cagney and Lacey gal.
Right, yeah. The cool thing about Earthquake was, a late role for Ava Gardner,
Oh, yeah. Well, that was it. That was it. They
Yeah.
always had, like, at the time in 1974, the happening sort of, it was all still like Hollywood kind of listers. I don't know, A, B, whatever. Like Heston was definitely like, oh, Chuck Heston's in this movie. Okay, he'll be up on the marquee, right?
Oh, yeah.
But they always had like an older actor. Like, I'm trying to think of the Poseidon Adventure, wasn't it?
Ooh, yeah.
What's her name? An older people are gonna know what I'm talking about. She's actually the one that was in Lolita, of all things. I'll tell you who it is, who I'm thinking of. Because I remember her from the Poseidon Adventure, and she was already kind of like playing an older gal. Shelley Winters.
Ah, there you go.
Because as a kid, I remember Shelley Winters from the Poseidon Adventure, and she's like kind of like this middle-aged, she was the freaking out middle-aged lady, I think. The one that they parodied, like you mentioned last time, in Airplane,
Right, yeah.
Pamela Sue Martin was in it. She must have been a kid in that movie.
Wow.
But anyway, Shelley Winters, and of course, growing up, it wasn't like, mom and dad would be like, oh, sit down, kids are going to go to movie night. Let's watch a Kubrick film. Clockwork Orange, or how about Lolita? It's like not subject matter for kids. So I didn't see Lolita growing up until I was an adult. Actually, not that long ago. This is a movie that I hadn't seen. So, and it was actually very good. I mean, you never can go wrong with a Kubrick film, in my opinion. But Shelley Winters is, of course, known for her role in that. She's creepy. But Richard Roundtree is an earthquake.
That's right, yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
I know, Shaft, right? It's like he shows up and he's like, damn it, I knew I shouldn't have taken that vacation from New York to L.A.
Right. Yeah, shut your mouth. Come on, baby. I'm just talking about earthquake.
Oh, here we go. Here's your old guy. You have Ava Gardner.
Oh, yeah.
But here's another one of your older guy actors, the great Lloyd Nolan.
Ah, yeah. And then also in Earthquake, there is kind of an Easter egg in there.
Yeah.
And they're in a bar. George Kennedy, he's had a rough day.
Kennedy's always in these movies.
And there is a boozy guy at the end, all dressed up, the big butterfly collar, hat askew, and he's got his face down on the bar, and someone says something to him, and he lifts his head up, and it's Walter Matthau.
Yes.
And I looked in the credits, and they gave him some funky name, so he's uncredited in it. It's just kind of this cameo. Well, like, holy cow, it's Walter Matthau.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta tell you, he doesn't make a bad drunk.
Oh, no. He's played drunks in other movies.
Yeah.
Matthau, that I recall. I can't think of. He's played a lot of movies. There's a movie I watched he was in a lot of 60s movies.
Yeah.
He was like always in.
Him and Jack Lemmon,
Yeah, well, him and Jack Lemmon, of course. Odd Couple.
Front Page.
Which one?
Front Page.
Front Page, yeah.
Front Page, yeah.
But he, I watched a movie a while back, and he plays a gumshoe.
Ooh.
That might have been early 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. What the heck was the name of that movie? That might have been 70s, actually. Let me take a look here. Was he in Grumpy Old Men?
Oh yes, him and Jack Lemmon.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah, number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men.
Grumpy Old Men, 1993. The Odd Couple, 68. Grumpier Old Men. Oh, he was in Dennis the Menace in 1993. See, he was like doing all these movies in the 90s. The Odd Couple 2?
Yep, Out to Sea.
1999 or 1988, The Odd Couple 2?
Yeah.
I never heard of it. Never heard of that movie. Now we're talking about Walter Matthau movies. The Fortune Cookie, 1966. Hopscotch, 1980. I think this is the movie I'm thinking of. Yep. I watched this a while back. It's from 1980. Hopscotch is a 1980 American spy comedy thriller film. Stars Walter Matthau, Glenda Jackson, Sam Waterston, Ned Beatty, and Herbert Lom.
Ned Beatty.
Yeah. The screenplay was written based on Brian Garfield's novel of the same name. Former CIA field officer Miles Kendig is intent on publishing an explosive memoir that will also expose the dirty tricks of Meyerson, his obnoxious, incompetent, and profane former boss. Meyerson and Kendig's protege, Joe Cutter, are repeatedly foiled in their attempts to capture the former agent and stop the publication of his memoir. He cleverly stays one step ahead of his pursuers, and the chase hopscotches around America and Western Europe.
Nice.
Yeah, a bunch of filmed on location. Matthau received a Golden Globe nomination.
Wow.
And there's a Criterion collection on DVD 2002. And a 2K Blu-ray in 2017. Hopscotch. There you go.
That
was the
one
movie.
has flown underneath my radar.
Yeah. Of course, here's a movie I haven't seen in a million years, but came out when I was a kid. I remember going to see it. We loved this movie, The Bad News Bears.
Oh, loved it, yes.
1976. Was that Jodie Foster, right?
Jodie Foster, yeah.
A young Jodie Foster.
Or was it Tatum O'Neal?
Ooh, good,
I kind of want to say Tatum O'Neal.
You know what? You might be right about that.
Yeah.
See, when I click on it, yeah, it was Tatum O'Neal.
Jackie
Earle Haley. Jackie Earle Haley.
That's right, yeah.
Rorschach.
Yeah.
Rorschach in the movie version of the Watchmen.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Jackie Earle Haley. Yeah, not a bad actor at all.
Actually, you know what else he's in? Which I found online for free. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I mean, it just was, sometimes you search on YouTube and boom, something comes up. Now we're talking, if we want to make a list of really great movies to watch from the 70s, which especially have to do with the future and disaster, because that's kind of how we roll as kids who grew up in the 70s, is Damnation Alley.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's been years.
So good. It's such a bad movie that it's so good. I mean, and here's the thing. When you take a movie like that, and, obviously, you have the stars at George Peppard.
Yeah.
It's a great cast. Jean Michael Vincent.
Yeah.
And Jackie Earle Haley is the kid in that.
Oh,
and I was like, it's Jackie Earle Haley. Coming off a few years after, actually a year or so after he did Bad News Bears.
Nice.
So he's a kid actor. You know what year that movie came out, Damnation Alley? And I remember when it came out.
76, maybe 77.
77.
Yeah.
So the thing is it was playing in all the theaters. I remember as a kid, and I think it was, here's the thing. You're a kid, and they had like rated R, and I think that was rated R, or maybe it was something. So there was movies I couldn't go to as a kid that I wanted to go to.
Right.
And the only way you could go to those movies is if you had older siblings, usually. And then you could sneak in,
Yeah. Yeah.
They'd put you in a trench coat with a fedora and get one of Dad's old cigars sticking out and put sunglasses on.
Right.
They sneak in. It's like, hey, who's that? Oh, that's Uncle Jimmy. He's very short.
Yeah.
Uncle Jimmy's very short. Say hi, Uncle Jimmy. Come on, Uncle Jimmy. We want to go see Damnation Alley, right?
Sounds like Uncle Jimmy's voice is changing.
Yes, exactly. So your older siblings would sneak you in. If you had older siblings.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have older siblings, and they never snuck me in anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't get to sneak into anywhere really. And so I never got to see Damnation Alley when it came out. And it was like, Damnation Alley. And then you had your school chums who would come and go, yeah, I saw it. Older brother snuck me in. He also snuck in some beers too. It's like, you're in the 7th grade, dude. And it would be like, they tell you all about it. It's like, I want to see this movie. Oh, giant spiders attack this dude. Oh man, because they're nuclear, you know. Oh
Right.
man, it's after a big nuclear war thing, man. There's these tornadoes and there's this giant truck. This,
You know, maybe we could go to the drive-through and like maybe look over the fence. We could probably do that.
yeah. Well, that would be the way to do it. It's like sometimes you get to catch something at the drive-through, which is nothing that anyone knows about.
Not anymore.
Walter Matthau, 1969, Hello Dolly.
Oh.
You know, remember that? That was huge. The Sunshine Boys,
Yes.
1975. That was George Burns.
Mm.
I like
right.
George Burns.
Yeah, like vaudevillian guys reuniting or something like that. The Sunshine Boys. Like two guys in like an old folks home or something reuniting on their vaudeville act.
You know what? This is the other movie. Okay, so I was telling you about that hopscotch movie.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, did a film fest that night that involved Walter Matthau movies that you forgot about or didn't see. Somehow it progressed in that, and it was inspired by, because it was like watch this movie, and then it's like, hey, if you like this movie, try this movie. Happens to have Walter Matthau in it. So you know the first movie that I watched that had Walter Matthau in it, and great cast, which then led to the hopscotch movie, was Charade.
Oh, okay.
1963 American romantic comedy mystery film. Directed by Stanley Donen, written by Peter Stone, starring Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. The cast also features Walter Matthau, James Coburn, George Kennedy,
Wow.
Dominique Minot, Ned Glass, and Jacques Marin. It spans 3 genres: suspense thriller, romance, and comedy. Huh?
Yeah. What a powerhouse cast, too.
Yeah, the film is notable, especially for its repartee between Grant and Hepburn. When did Cary Grant not have a repartee with his leading lady? It was freaking Cary Grant, man. That was one of you know what makes those guys like a great male actor, like classic actor. Great. It's like he has a co-star, especially a woman or love interest or whatever, or something, you know. And it's you come away going, yeah, that works. That couple works. I get that thing. Cary Grant was always good. Like I can't think of a time that. I mean, maybe somebody out there could, but I can't think of a movie that I've seen Cary Grant where it's not like the female lead and it's like, oh yeah, Cary Grant, and Ingrid Bergman in Notorious. I'm there for it, you know.
Yeah, always solid, yeah.
Yeah. Is it Eva St. Marie? Is that the one from North by Northwest?
I think so, yeah.
I think it's Eva St. Marie. You know? I mean, it's like he always has that rapport.
Yeah.
It's probably because it's just easy. Like he walks in and it's like, who's this? I'm Cary Grant. It's like, well, I'm going to have a rapport with this guy.
Right.
Look at this, man. I'm a huge Cary Grant file. He's just, I don't know. Stylish guy. I like his movies. I like, you know, he's just like kind of like one of those ideal dudes from the old days, the classic days. If you like the classic,
right.
You know, not like the latter days. I mean, the classic days, like put on a Sinatra album, have a martini, you know. He's stylish, you know. Yeah, so Charade. Filmed for Katharine Hepburn, Audrey Hepburn, although Cary Grant did movies with Katharine Hepburn too, which he had great repartee with her. Those are classics.
You know, I can't think of Cary Grant without doing that idea. Judy.
I don't know. You know, I don't even know what that's from or anything. You know, I mean, I know that that's a joke, but he's got some really good. I mean, so he did, you know, a couple different things. Of course, he did thrillers with Hitchcock, you know, but he
Northwest.
And earlier, well, even later, he would do comedy, romantic comedy, which he was very good at, you know. And his early stuff, like Black and White, when he's younger, he's got great like comedic delivery. But so there's a lot of funny lines, like over the holidays. Here's one: Cary Grant, Kate Hepburn, Philadelphia Story, right? That's what it's called, right?
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, great. Which is Cary Grant, Kate Hepburn, and Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Now you see.
Yeah.
You see.
But it's an old movie, so it's like they're all three of them are still, you know, fairly young.
Yeah.
And that's a big romantic comedy farce kind of thing. I think it was a play before it was made into a movie. But like he's got a lot of good quotes, I was going to say, in North by Northwest. You know?
Yeah.
Like when he's trying to escape the art gallery auction and he runs into Martin Landau, you know? I can't remember. He has these great lines. This is like great lines, and you know, because the bad guys keep picking him up, and he has that like James Bond. Yeah. You know, when James Bond gets captured by the bad guys.
Right.
You know, and what does Bond do? He has quips.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you're stylish.
Those one-liners, man.
Well, you don't just get captured like in real life and go, oh my God, ah! No. You know, it's like, you know, is that a gun in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Right, yeah.
This way, Mr. Bond, unless you want to have some permanent air conditioning in your coat.
Right. You know, some behead somebody, he lost his head.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so Bond would have those, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And so Cary Grant has those in you know, in like North by Northwest. As a matter of fact, Cary Grant was somewhat an influenced prototype for the film version of James Bond. In fact, I think it was Ian Fleming or Broccoli. It was one of those guys that actually wanted Cary Grant to play James Bond. And they were like, why don't we get Cary Grant, man? He'd be James Bond. Let's get him. And I think Cary Grant did not want to be James Bond.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine Cary Grant doing the physical, you know, the fighting and what usually happens in a typical.
He was by the 60s there. He was getting a little older. Yeah, because I don't know how old Connery was when he first picked it up in like 62, but he was still pretty young and spry. And Cary Grant, was definitely getting older. So I think that might have been one of the considerations. You know, but I mean they, you know, so those quips.
Yeah.
So just remember that.
He had those sly one-liners, you know.
Yeah. This, you know, when bad things happen. Because I know that's the first thing I thought of when I was 17 years old and getting robbed at gunpoint in a gas station. Funny quips I can use right here, right now.
James, you're late. Where were you? Sorry, I was all tied up.
No, instead you're shaking going, oh my God, what is happening? I
love it, yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But there's something about those one-liners, though, being delivered in that, you know, that Scottish, you know, brogue, you know, the accent. I was all tied up.
Yeah. Well, that's a Smith & Wesson. Yeah. But it would be interesting to see Cary Grant. You know, we could do that now. It's 2020. We have the technology. I'm waiting for someone to do that. I mean, we're pretty much there. Like we could take From Russia with Love, take the film, digitally go in it, and put Cary Grant in it.
Ooh.
Instead of Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Someone's going to do that eventually. Someone's going to just flat out take a whole movie, recast it with different people. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Dom DeLuise as Blofeld. Yes.
Petting the cat, you know.
Yes. Oh, he'd be perfect.
Well, if you're gonna have Dom DeLuise as Blofeld,
I'm petting the cat.
You gotta have Burt Reynolds as James Bond.
Yeah, but he's too American, though. You know.
Well, I know, but that's part of the. You give him some.
No. You'd use the deep fake, which is what they use to put the face on someone, and so it would be Burt Reynolds, but with Sean Connery's voice. It's still, you wouldn't change the voice out, right? Deep fake, guys. Check it out. Do this. Take a scene from James Bond, make James Bond be Burt Reynolds, and make Blofeld be Dom DeLuise.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And put the hat on Burt Reynolds too. Have him wearing the hat. The whole smoky and the whole. And then you could have I don't know, one of the ladies like Ursula Andress or whatever be Sally Field,
Right. Of course, then again, both like in those Cannonball Run movies, they had the Jack Elam.
Yeah.
The macabre-looking guy. We got to fit him in somewhere,
Oh, Charade is has often been referred to as the best Hitchcock movie that Hitchcock never made.
Yeah.
That's a good one, though. It's a good one. It has all, Cloak and Dagger and all that, and Walter Matthau's in it. He's like kind of on the trail of them, and yeah, that was an enjoyable watch. But then there's Earthquake, Incense Around. That's probably on Blu-ray or DVD or something in or the surround. It's got to be.
Yeah, I watched it not too long ago it was on
oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's why you mentioned it.
Not pay-per-view, but on demand. It was on there.
Yeah, so here's what I'm doing, and here's what I suggest everyone do. And this is a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Free movies on the internet. And no, I'm not talking about
free movies.
The bad stuff. I'm talking about the good stuff. So like I was talking, I've been going up to this Tubi TV thing.
Yes.
They got a lot of movies up there.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm getting in the habit, if there's a movie I think of like Earthquake, they don't have it up there, I'll just type it in and see if they've got it. Because there's movies that popped up. There was a movie that popped up, a movie I've never seen, and I was listening to a movie podcast thing, and they were talking about this movie. It's Robert De Niro, and it's about the film business. And it was made like 10 years ago, I want to say. Never heard of it. And the guy was going, yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's a movie based on a novel about the film business. I'll tell you what it is. It's on the Tubi. I was like, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it is here. I watched Mean Streets. Now, Mean Streets was on Netflix a while back. Let's see. Maybe it was, I don't know if it got good reviews or whatever. God, Wag the Dog. I haven't seen that one in a long time.
I've been looking at that forever because there's sometimes when it's stuff's in the news and it seems so prescient.
Hey Google, here's a good idea. When you say look at the movies, put them in chronological order. Is that it? This might be it. No, that's not it.
That's not it.
No, it's not in chronological order. What? Sure, just mix it up.
Yeah, I was thinking about the last episode we did, and so last night I was kind of in a Coen Brothers mood.
Oh yeah.
And so I finally saw the Hudsucker Proxy.
Yes. Is that on Netflix?
No, I saw it on demand. There's a Comcast on demand.
Because you know what's weird? Somebody else watched it. in my Facebook just like the other day and was posting about it. They had never seen it. But I thought it was like on Netflix or something.
Yeah, it's one that slipped right by me. Fantastic movie.
We talked about that one, didn't we? And it kind of, Jennifer Jason Leigh does like a killer Kate Hepburn.
Right, yeah.
Like it's totally that kind of, it's set in that time period. And the whole movie is like an homage to like those old movies from like, you know, the late, like the 40s. I guess it would be early to mid 40s, probably not the late 40s because the war was going on. But
Jennifer Jason Leigh, she had that patois down. Down pat.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, it was really, really good. It's fun watching that movie just for that. Charles Durning, he's in it, isn't he? Charles Durning. And Paul Newman, of course.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And Tim Robbins, the great.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan of Tim Robbins.
Fantastic, yeah.
One of my favorite movies is The Player.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good movie. Here's the movie right here, and it's up on Tubi TV, or it was when I checked it out. It's called What Just Happened. And somebody brought it up in a podcast. It's a Barry Levinson movie. Well, it's got 3 stars on IMDb, but it's a Barry Levinson movie. He makes good movies, you know. Yeah. 2008 American satirical comedy drama directed by Barry Levinson, starring Robert De Niro. Has Catherine Keener, like her. Robin Wright Penn, I do like her. Stanley Tucci, like Stanley Tucci.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Tucci, your table's ready. That's a quote from a friend who lived in New York, was in New York, was in it, going into a restaurant, and heard the maitre d' come out and go, Mr. Tucci, your table was ready. And all of a sudden turn around and here's Stanley Tucci walking by. It's like, oh, it's Mr. Tucci. I think he's a priority guest in this restaurant here in New York. Moon Bloodgood and Sean Penn. It's an independent movie. It's based on the book What Just Happened. Bitter Hollywood Tales from the Front Line by Art Linson. About his experiences as a producer in Hollywood. So it's like a Hollywood expose kind of movie. I've never seen that movie. And you know what? It's on Tubi TV for free.
There you go.
So I just typed it in, and sometimes when Google's being nice, it'll pop up. You put in a movie and it'll say where you can watch it. Oh, Google TV, iTunes, or whatever, and it's like Tubi TV. So I was like, I can watch this for free, and I've never seen this movie.
Right.
Now you still haven't seen Miller's Crossing yet, though.
No,
It's the next movie you got to see.
I've been trying to get it, and I just can't find it anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I got it on my list though. As soon as it shows up, it'll ding me and tell me.
So so you like the Hudsucker Proxy?
Fantastic movie, yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of just like they do. It's kind of like their throwback to movies of that era.
Yeah.
Like they redo it. Is it the one where he keeps going like, you know, it's for kids, right? You know? Is that line?
You know, it's for kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they have the little hula hoop poster, and down below it says, you know, it's for kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
It takes place, does the movie take place at the stock market crash? Was that it?
No, it's 1958.
Oh, okay. So it's set in that period.
New York City, 1958.
Yeah. So we got your Hudsucker Proxy, a Coen Brothers film. We got your Earthquake, which I haven't seen in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Now you just watched Earthquake recently. When I was a kid, I was excited to go see it because it was always Earthquake in Earthquake in Sensurround. I mean, it was always like that, like quite literally.
Yeah.
They throw the Echo on in the trailer.
Panavision, you know.
Mm-hmm. I remember as a kid, I was excited to go see it. I liked Towering Inferno, which was different, you know. That was...
Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, that was Irwin Allen. Earthquake wasn't, but it was still kind of in that genre. Even though it was different people, still kind of in that all-star cast. Bad things happen. People got to do stuff, you know.
Right. Also, remember this, Airport 77.
Yes. Well, and the original Airport.
Right.
Now, that's a movie. The original Airport, actually both those original, which of course is the basis for Airplane movies, are the movies I haven't seen in a million years. And I remember when I was a kid watching the original Airport late night on the movie of the week. They'd always have the movie of the week. A lot of these movies I saw as the movie of the week.
Right, yeah, KPTV or something like that?
No, it was ABC.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's usually ABC.
All right.
Movie of the week, I think. Yeah, I think so.
NBC, right?
ABC.
ABC? I thought it was like NBC Movie of the Week.
No, I think it was ABC. You know why? You know what NBC had? Like Columbo and stuff like that.
Oh.
Didn't they? That was them, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't CBS. NBC had the mystery movie night thing. And I think that's where Columbo came from. That all these different shows. As a matter of fact, I believe Kolchak the Night Stalker came from that.
Love that, yeah.
Like they were movies. $6 Million Man was a movie, 3 made-for-TV movies before they did the series. So they'd have like a thing, like a 2-hour movie, like Glenn A. Larson presents $6 Million Man or whatever. Right. And it would be a 2-hour movie. And then people would go, hey, got good numbers. People really dig that $6 Million Man. Let's make another TV movie. And then finally it's like, let's turn that thing into a series, you know?
Right. The majors.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were kind of high budget. Like Kolchak the Night Stalker. I think it was like NBC Mystery Movie. I think that was what it was. Yeah, the NBC Mystery Movie.
That's fantastic.
Is an umbrella title of an American television series produced by Universal Studios that was broadcast on NBC from 71 to 77. At times it was divided into 2 versions that were broadcast concurrently. NBC Sunday Mystery Movie and the NBC Wednesday Mystery Movie. So I think it's the Sunday one that was probably... I think the ABC one was maybe Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Wheel Show, Umbrella Program. Who came out of this? Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. 3 original series. Okay, McCloud, starring Dennis Weaver.
Yep.
Columbo, starring Peter Falk.
Gotta love it.
So Columbo came out of the mystery movies. Macmillan and Wife, which was actually pretty good, which was Rock Hudson and Susan St. James.
Right.
Heck Ramsey, starring Richard Boone.
Really?
A forensic gunfighter turned frontier forensic detective in the Old West. The piece was a Wheel series and was produced by Jack Webb.
Really? Frontier Forensic.
Oh, you're gonna love this. Look what else. This was one that I liked. Banachek with George Papard.
Yes.
He was an insurance investigator in Boston. Always was like, yes, I'm a insurance investigator who comes on big crimes and murders and stuff. It would always be something like that.
Right.
Cool Millions, starring James Ferrantino as a former CIA agent. Mm-hmm. Madigan, starring Richard Widmark.
Richard Widmark, excellent.
Faraday and Company, starring Dan Daly. I don't know. Tenafly, starring James McEachin. The Snoop Sisters. Oh, the Snoop Sisters, starring Helen Hayes and Mildred Natwick. Helen Hayes. Helen Hayes, correct me if I'm wrong, is the lady in Airplane. She's the old lady in Airplane, I think.
I believe so, yeah. Uh-huh.
The elderly lady is like, wow, I gotta crash in the plane. Oh, it's okay. Old lady. Thank God it's not 2020, old lady. Yeah, McCoy. Quincy, starring Jack Klugman.
Jack Klugman, yeah.
This is a good one. Lanigan's Rabbi, about a small-town police chief, Art Carney, and his best friend, a rabbi and amateur sleuth, Bruce Solomon.
That's awesome.
Oh, and a lot of these were books. So Columbo, McCloud. Friday. Oh, here we go. The Friday Night Mystery Movie.
Uh-huh.
In the fall of 1993. Oh, look at it. We should say, R.I.P., McShane, starring Kenny Rogers, as a gambler turned house detective to pay his debts.
McShane.
R.I.P. Kenny Rogers, who just passed
That's
away.
right.
Heart to Heart. This was the fall of 93. Heart to Heart, a revival starring Robert Wagner and Stephanie Powers.
That's right, yeah.
Larry Hagman. Oh. The Cosby Mysteries, starring Bill Cosby. Perry Mason was revived.
Raymond Burr, yeah.
Yeah. The weird thing is I thought Kolchak was a spinoff of one of these. But I mean, it could have just, you know what, it may not have been a spinoff, but I believe it was a standalone, mystery movie, Kolchak, you know what I mean, 2-hour TV movie, and people were like, hey, we like that. How about have more of that,
Right, yeah.
But the ABC, I think whoa!
Yeah. Background noise.
It was like, that was a Kolchak moment right there.
Right, yeah. Fifth caller to call in and describe what you just heard at 503-395-5040 wins exactly 2 things. You ready? Jack and Squat.
Okay, it was ABC Movie of the Week.
Uh-huh.
And it had, I don't know if I could play it, because it had this really iconic intro with ABC all neon and stuff and this like drumming and music. You know what I'm talking about. The cool font. Here it is, ABC Movie of the Week. That's where a lot of these movies come from. The ABC Movie of the Week was a weekly television anthology series featuring made-for-TV movies that aired on the ABC network in various permutations 69 to 75. Same thing, NBC movie, mystery movie, ABC Movie of the Week,
Yeah.
I still think that they played other movies too, like first-run movies. Okay, so the ABC Movie of the Week series pilot, and it would be like, okay, so here's what was brilliant about this back in the day of television movie making. They would greenlight a pilot for a series. Well, the thing is you had to dump a bunch of millions of dollars to make the pilot TV, get the actors, get the sets, do the filming, do the editing, all that stuff, okay? Well, that costs a lot of money. So that's like a sunk cost or whatever. Now, you make the pilot, and then the executives look at it and go, we don't like it, we don't think it's going to work, cancel it. You may never see the pilot. And you just lost all that money. Or maybe they show the pilot. A lot of these were like to show pilots and then see if people watched and if they liked it. And then it was almost like kind of a test market.
Sure.
So ABC, Mystery Movie of the Week, Kung Fu.
Oh, Carradine.
The $6 Million Man, as I said before. 3 movies before they turned that into a series, which is on Tubi TV, by the way. The first one is not, though. I wish the first one was on there. It was the second and the third one, and then the start of the first few seasons. I don't know if all the seasons were in there. Which was unfortunate because I wanted to see the original pilot, but that was not on Tubi. Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, yeah. David Soul.
Longstreet, Toma, Alias Smith and Jones. Get Christy Love. Marcus Welby. Okay, Movie of the Week. Marcus Welby, MD? Yeah, I guess so.
That's Robert. It was the guy in. Come on, Robert Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Robert Young.
Robert Young.
The guy who.
Right.
Drank,
Father knows best, right?
Yeah, drank too much coffee, and we won't go into his personal life. Actually, it's kind of sad. Marcus Welby, wasn't happy. Let's just put it that way. Earth 2, Robert Conrad, another guy who just passed away a few weeks ago.
Man.
Oh, yeah. That was ABC, I believe. Yeah. That was boy, as a kid, man. If Robert Conrad was in a show as a kid, like, it was mandatory. Mm-hmm. Like, you couldn't come to school and hang out with your friends. It's like, did you watch it? Oh yeah, I watched it, man.
Yeah. I liked it in later years. They had it on, it's like every Saturday. Uh-huh. Yeah, I sit there glued to the TV.
Oh, yeah, they had... Yeah. Had it in reruns. I remember watching it when it was first run on I mean, it was literally like... And it was like Tuesday nights. In fact, I think I posted this on my Facebook when he died. It was like, oh no, man. It was like me and my friends. It was like, let's just Baba Sheep. Gotta watch it, you know. Yeah. And you know, I grew up watching Wild Wild West in reruns. So you'd be watching Wild Wild West on rerun TV every day, and then you'd have Baba Black Sheep. Jim West kicked butt, man.
Oh yeah.
Jim West, man. Yeah, so there were all these shows. Still don't see Kolchak, but I thought it was tied to one of these types of shows.
Yeah, it's all in that era, you know. Even the shows that weren't like made in the movies, like Mannix.
Yeah.
Or Cannon. That's my favorite, hands down. Frank Cannon. There's something. Yeah. There's something purely magical about Robert Conrad. Mm-hmm. Giving a judo chop to somebody. William Conrad. Sorry.
Robert Conrad. Yeah, not Robert Conrad. William Conrad.
William Conrad. Yes. Yeah. And it's great, man, because he tries to fight.
Robert Conrad, thin, spry, wily sort of fighter. Guy you'd never want to get in a fight with.
Right.
Because you're just like, you're going to lose to Robert Conrad. William Conrad, just start running. You probably outrun him. You'll be okay. Right. Unless he gets in his Cadillac and drives and chases you down.
But if you get in any sort of range with him, I mean, he's judo chopping you. Yeah. And it's fantastic. I love the judo chop. The wife can't stand it. She thinks it's phony as heck, because you're right. I mean, all you got to do is take one step to the right, and William Conrad still, he's out of breath trying to find you.
Yeah.
But in his show, man, he lays down the kung fu action.
Can you slow down? Excuse me, Sonny. Can you slow down? I'm a little short of breath here.
Cut.
Yeah.
I'll have you know that on the MeTV website,
right,
where you can buy all the swag and different sort of stuff, they have a Frank Cannon T-shirt.
Oh yeah. I like that. I like what they do there. They have like cool stuff on there. I mean, that's the thing. Talking about free. If you want to watch this stuff for free, it's on that MeTV, which you can get over the air, and you can probably get some sort of streaming or something. But you can. Oh, MeTV is for sale, the domain. So I guess that's not it. It's probably metv.com.
Probably.
I was looking at me.tv, which someone probably just.
And of course, on there you also get Sven Gulli too.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of stuff, Star Trek and all that. Yeah. I thought they were. Oh look, you can get a Barney Fife T-shirt.
Oh, that's.
Star Trek T-shirt.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone. Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Sven Gulli. Yeah, okay. collections.
Oh yeah.
Me TV, classic brands, pullover hoodie. Yeah, I mean that's cool. Classic television shirts.
That's awesome, yeah.
Andy Griffith Show. Okay, the Barney Fife is pretty good. It's just kind of a black T-shirt with the black and white cutout of his face, like doing the Barney Fife, like oh. I could see the Barney Fife.
Oh, I could either.
Yeah. Okay.
Barney's universal.
Yeah. Andy, whatever, but no, the Barney Fife I could do. You do a little Don Knotts. They got a lot of Andy Griffith. Jeez. Trying to see if they got anything else. Well, they got Batman. They got Robin, Batman. Oh, those aren't too bad. The Batman T-shirt's not too bad. Anyway, now they got a lot of classic Batman stuff. So you know what? Here's a big movie that came on that ABC that we all watched and came out. That was a big deal. Steven Spielberg's Duel, starring Dennis Weaver.
Yes.
The movie that put Steven Spielberg on the map as a director. And I don't know how old he was. He was pretty young. He was just a young dude director. And it's Dennis Weaver. Who he was like a kind of a, he did a whole, Dennis Weaver always was doing stuff back in the 70s. Yeah. Now see, when I was growing up, it was always weird for me to see Dennis Weaver doing stuff, because here's the thing. He was always the dad in Gentle Ben. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Gentle Ben? And the kid? Clint Howard?
Yes, a young Clint Howard.
Clint Howard? Apparently he was at the Star Trek convention last year and was meeting and hanging out with people.
Really?
Oh yeah, I would have been like, and everyone was like, "God, dude's really cool. Dude's totally," because he was in a Star Trek episode, original series, as a little kid. God, he was tiny, little. I don't know how old he was when he did it. He was Balok.
I think so, yeah.
The Carbonite maneuver, I think it's called. But anyway, so he goes to Star Trek conventions. But Dennis Weaver was the dad. Driving that funky boat in the Everglades. And then they had Clint Howard as a kid. And a big freaking bear. And
Gentle
you're like...
Ben.
Yeah, and at the time, you're a kid. That was a bad show to show to kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's Gentle Ben. It's just a bear. It's Gentle Ben.
Yeah, how many kids during that time frame went to like some national park? Oh, look, it's a bear. It's like Gentle Ben. Oh, it's so nice. And the bear takes off your arm, right?
Yeah. It's like it took years for Werner Herzog to put the kibosh on that. It's like, let's talk about grizzly men. It's like, okay. Bears are not things you want to hang out with. Animals. They're animals. They're natural. But bears and human beings, they should have social distancing. Like cougars and human beings should have social distancing. Right. Especially if you're a young man on spring break. Anyway, because there's a lot of cougars out on spring break.
Oh, there are.
Oh yeah, baby.
And there's something that I've never seen before, and I don't know if it exists. But they try to tell me that there's some magical animal out there called MILFs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Cougars. Hey-oh!
Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to say something else. When a middle-aged man says, there's something I haven't seen before, it's like you go, oh, no.
Right,
don't tell us.
Go in there.
Please. So back to Earthquake.
Yeah, this is family friendly.
Now, Earthquake, Poseidon Adventure. See, these are all good ones. Here would be my list of pot boiler, as they would say, disaster movies. Airport, which I think is 1970. And which George Kennedy is great in that movie. That's Rock Hudson, right? Rock Hudson's the...
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, poor Rock Hudson, man. It was sad what happened to him because he was a heck of a leading guy. You know, he was, you know...
Right, yeah.
And, I mean, he was courageous. He was courageous, you know, for coming out at the same time during the AIDS crisis. Yeah.
Right.
Which, wow, can we all relate now?
Right.
So, yeah, so Airport, Poseidon Adventure, which I think it was 69, something like that. A Towering Inferno, Earthquake, Midway. Again, these were all star casts. All, you know, Earthquake and Midway were censored around. These are all movies that I would see as a kid. And then if you want to go post-apocalyptic, you start to get into your Damnation Alley.
Oh yeah.
And Damnation Alley's not a Hitchcock film. It's not North by Northwest. It's not a Kubrick film. Okay.
It's not Kubrick film.
Yeah, it's not. You're not going to deem it high art, but it has George Peppard in it. And Gene Michael Vincent, when he's young, man, he passed away just a while back. You remember? He was always good as the young whippersnapper kind of guy.
Right.
You know? Let's see. A good post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie, which I think, and it's total, I mean, yeah, Damnation Alley, but like takes place in space. Silent Running.
Oh, yeah, that's
Bruce
right,
Dern. They're out in space. And the reason, this is a good one too, because the whole reason they're out in space is basically climate change. Like the Earth, like, got ruined. And so they take these big space arcs out there with like forests and ecosystems out in space because to save it, to reserve it from the Earth. Yeah. Which scientifically, if you think about that whole thing, you're like, you know, so maybe the guys are out there in space with, so like they go into a dome, like he goes into a dome and there's like a forest and rabbits and Joan Baez music playing, literally. And PDQ Bach, because the guy who did PDQ Bach wrote the score. And this is a Douglas Trumbull movie, by the way. Close Encounters of the Third Kind, early Star Wars, all that stuff. The great visual effects guy, Douglas Trumbull. But so maybe when they're out there in space doing that stuff, Bruce Dern and doing all that, back on Earth it's like George Peppard and Damnation Alley. With these super hurricanes and storms after, you know.
Right.
Cheering people up, I know. It's weird. I'm just kind of, I like that kind of thing, and it is kind of weird. I mean, I guess you could watch comedies, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I did, what the heck? I did watch UHF. I think we talked about that last time, didn't we?
Weird Al, yeah, Weird Al.
So you can find UHF on Tubi. A lot of good funny ones. You remember the original, and we talked about Fridays. Oh God, there it is, UHF, man. There's tons of movies on the Tubi, comedy, whatnot, and it's all free, man. I mean, it's like,
Love it.
So type in a movie and see if it's there. Especially right now, if you're hunkered down, you know. Oh, speaking of free, I did want to mention this. Remember that Star Trek show? You know that Star Trek show?
Yeah.
You know that one that's playing now? Actually, the season finale is like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I think they drop them at midnight, so the reviews will start coming in. Yeah, that Star Trek show, Star Trek Picard now. Guess what? It's free, baby. It's free.
Really?
Yeah, after all the people who've been paying for it to watch it each week.
Oh.
And I just held out. I was just like, yeah, I'll wait and see. Like if that show got really, really good reviews from people I kind of trust as reviewers, who at least have my similar taste in Star Trek. Not all. I mean, some people liking it, Then I would probably jumped on to watch it, but based on the reviews. Yeah. And again, this is my experience after watching 2 seasons of the other new Star Trek show, which I was thoroughly did not like. I mean, which is sad. Good cast, bunch of special effects, but it was just like, I've been rewatching Enterprise on Netflix again, and it's just like, and I know a lot of people did not like that show. Go rewatch Enterprise. Just, if you have Netflix, go watch it. Just give it a rewatch, see if you like it any better. Not every episode in Star Trek is great, but I still liked it. But anyway, so you can go sign up right now on the CBS All Access, and you can watch all of that for free. Like, you don't have to pay.
Yeah.
It's probably a trial or something. Like, I think it's 1 month free or whatever. I gotta look it up. And there's other CBS stuff. There's other Star Trek up there too. But if you have Netflix or whatever, you got that.
Yeah.
CBS All Access free. I'll tell you what the terms are. CBS All Access is offering a free 1 month trial just in time to binge Star Trek Picard. So there you go. And the season finale is tomorrow. So my plan was to see how it goes, see what the reviews are, and then maybe sign up and watch it. Kind of at the point where I'm such a Star Trek fan, it's like, okay, even if it's not so good, I should at least watch it once, I guess.
Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, I just don't like a lot of new Star Trek.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I liked our Star Trek better. Our Star Trek Picard was way better.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. You have to give them your credit card, right?
Yeah.
I think. But, obviously it's free, so you can go and... I don't know what the terms are, but I think, you could go watch stuff and then cancel it. The sad thing about the whole streaming thing is, first of all, a show like that, they dumped, the budget, they dumped a ton of money in that, which is to get their fledgling streaming service going next to Netflix, Amazon,
right.
Hulu,
Disney Plus.
Well, those are the newcomers, right? Disney Plus and CBS.
Yeah.
And the thing is what we're hearing, I'm just saying what we're hearing out there, and none of them publish exact numbers, and if they publish numbers, like most companies do,
Yeah.
You want to make investors happy. You want to show good trends. You're actually supposed to be full disclosure with investors. I'm not saying anybody's doing anything, but I'm just saying you want to kind of,
Yeah.
And so kind of what we're hearing is, for example, Disney Plus. What blew up there on Disney Plus? Well, there's a bunch of... I've said this before. If you have little kids and you like the old classic Disney movies, Disney Plus is great for you. Go get it. I mean, if you grew up with those Disney movies like I did, the Herbie the Love Bug and all those movies and stuff and the animation and Snow White, it's all there. Go for it.
Right.
But if that's not working, or you already got those on disc or whatever it is, then maybe not. You don't have little kids, maybe not. Maybe nostalgia or not. But the thing that blew up on Disney Plus is they launched it with The Mandalorian TV show. And pretty much hands down, there's some people, but mostly the consensus was everybody loved that show.
Oh, yeah.
I saw the trailer for it, and it looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And then I waited, and I heard the first review or so of it, and they were positive. And I can't remember. I think I was like 2 episodes in or whatever, maybe. I didn't think I got right away. And then it was like, it broke the dam. I was like, oh, I got to sign up for this. Check it out. You know, and they give you a 1-week trial. So I did that. Saw the first few episodes of Mandalorian. Gave it a thumbs up. You know, loved it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I was happy I got it. So that was Disney Plus. Well, now the Mandalorian's over. Unless you want to watch those old movies or whatever. They do have the Clone War animated series that went on there.
Right.
I should probably watch that. I did watch some of that. It was pretty good, but you got to be real hardcore Star Wars fan. Let's get in the weeds. There's good stories in there that kind of explain a lot of stuff if you really want to understand the Star Wars world. You know, the Clone Wars were good. It was on Netflix for a few years, and you could binge watch all the seasons. So that's on there. I have to look and see what's going on with that. Maybe I should check that out. Haven't been all that much excited about the Clone Wars stuff. I'm more excited about live action Star Wars like The Mandalorian.
Right.
So, you know, the subscribership, are they sustaining a good subscribership? You got to put tons of new content. And then Mandalorian season 2 is coming out sometime next year. Okay.
Right.
So then CBS, they got like I Love Lucy and all these old shows. Yeah. Do you want to sign up for that? I don't know. You know, if you don't have Netflix, you could go there to watch Star Trek. I don't know if Hulu has Star Trek on it. Probably not. Probably Netflix.
Right.
Or Amazon in some other countries. So really, you wouldn't sign up to just watch old Star Trek. Like I said, if you got Netflix, lots of people have Netflix. You can watch any episode from any of the previous series.
Right.
So you go on there. And then they got the new Star Treks. Well, if you don't like the new Star Treks, then you're kind of going to be like, I don't know, why am I here? Cancel, you know? And now,
right.
So then they do the Picard. He's a big deal in Star Trek, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so now they got it. And people are like, you know? I mean, part of the problem, I think, and again, acting is best than it's ever been, I think. Actors today are really, really good. I've seen a lot of movies and shows new ones that I did not like, that I was like, this is horrible. The story doesn't work, this script or whatever. But then I'm like, but the actor's doing a real good job with what they're working with.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's funny. It's like there's a lot of actors. The actors in the Star Trek Discovery show, I like them. I just wish it was a better Star Trek show. I like them, actually. I have nothing wrong with the actors. It's like, hey, they're all really good. I really wish this were more a Star Trek show story thing that I would like better. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, with Picard, well, you got him, you know, you got Patrick Stewart. And they did bring Jerry Ryan, 7 of 9, and she's doing good. But, you know, where else is everybody else, you know? Again, where's Joy? Okay, yeah, they had an episode with the scene with old Riker and old Troy. I shouldn't say that, old Troy, but...
Old Troy.
I shouldn't say that. I mean, elegant, stunning, mature Deanna Troy. And old Riker, you can say that about the guy. Okay, so they have that. And the reviews that I've heard, even the more, you know, the people generally who don't like it, the one thing they said, that episode when they had the reunion with Troy and Riker, that was a highlight in the show. Like, they were like, I liked that part. Because it was like, that was cool. That gave me... Because what happens? All of a sudden you get the Next Generation vibe. You're putting the band back together again. You know? And that's the problem. If you really want to blow the roof off, you got 10 episodes, which isn't a lot. Yeah, you got all these new characters. And again, good actors. The captain apparently is really good. He's got some interesting stuff. And from what I've seen in the reviews, that's a character you'll like. So the captain of the ship, he's got his ship, and then he's got his helpers, and his helpers are all holograms of him with different personalities. Gotcha. Like, get the weapons guy online, and it's like a dude who comes online, and it's a hologram of him. Like, it's real narcissistic, but people are saying it's really cool. It's a cool concept, cool character. The guy who plays that character is cool. Okay, that's great. That's cool. You know, I'll probably like that too, and I'll probably like the Riker, that whole reunion part, right? But again, you got to get the band back together again.
Right.
It's like when you see a reunion tour with a band you really liked when you were young.
Sure.
And it's like the bass player of that band and everyone else. Go there, but that's what I was thinking.
Or Deep Purple, for God's sakes, you know?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, on one of these critic shows that I watched to get the updates on how these shows are doing, should I watch them or not, somebody actually brought up in one of these streams, it was like, well, you know, I'm kind of weird. I actually liked the Van Halen when they got Hagar. And I was like, ooh.
That's some controversial stuff there.
I know some people do, okay? I'm sorry, that's when I checked. And here's the thing. I liked Hagar before Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
I like Van Halen. Mm-hmm. But when the two got together, you know, and I do get it. I know. Was it 5150? Was that their record?
That was their first one with Hagar.
Yeah, I mean, there was that one song that was with the keyboards, and the whole thing is Eddie wanted to get in the keyboards, which is fine, you know.
Oh, Right Now, yeah.
Right Now, yeah. I mean, to me, it was just like, I remember when I heard that, and it was like, okay, this is Van Halen. It's like, that's not Van Halen. Everything I've heard up to that point, that's not Van Halen. Yeah, 1984, I get it. Keyboards, jump, you know.
Yeah.
But you had to have a little of the crazy in it, too. You had to have the David Lee Roth, the crazy pants part of it. Okay, right. Keyboards, but woohoo, you know?
Right, because, you know, if you got jump, right, keyboards, then they go the other way, Panama, and then my personal favorite, Top Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. Drop Dead Legs.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
House of Pain. Is that on there? That wasn't like an exclusive. There was a thing going on Twitter about like tracks that you didn't know about that were like demos or exclusives to like albums that you never heard before. It involved the Police, actually. I was having a conversation with someone on Twitter who was like a track that I'd never heard before.
It's weird. Bands would put like additional...
Or B-sides of singles.
Yeah, that you wouldn't hear here in America. Yeah. They would stick them on like the Japanese release or European, you know, some European release.
Yeah.
And so you'd have a song that you never heard before. I mean, it's,
right.
You know, and so it was like that. It was like that Easter egg thing. You got to go out and buy it, you know, just to.
Yeah. Yeah, but like was it Drop Dead? One of those tunes or House of Pain? Is that on there? One of them I remember on 1984 was like some old B-side to one of their earlier albums. I mean, it wasn't like they wrote it, but it never. Yeah, House of Pain. I think it was House of Pain. I think there was like some B-side from Van Halen too, and they never put it on the record.
Right.
And then they just said, hey, remember House of Pain? Oh, okay. That's a good one. But, yeah, okay, so here's what they should have done. I guess they're kind of like Picard, you know?
Yep, House of Pain. Let's see, the opening little 1984 ditty, then Jump, Panama, Top Jimmy, Drop Dead Legs, Hot for Teacher.
Yep.
I'll Wait, Girl Gone Bad, and then House of Pain.
Yep.
There you go.
And every band did Panama.
Yep. Panama.
Yeah. Oh, I did this thing once. It's hard to explain. It involved a company and then playing in a band and doing stuff. And it's like, can we play Panama? It's like, okay. It was like all of a sudden he breaks into it and I'm playing the drums. It's like, dude, you know it really well. And it's like, we used to play it every night in the bar. It was on our set list, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I know it. Yes, I know Panama. It's on the set list.
So I got a question for you. Who would shout out more, Panama or Freebird?
Or Freebird?
Yeah, some drunk guy in the corner. Hey, play Freebird.
I don't know. I mean, see, I think after 1984, it was Panama. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely more of that sort of thing, but...
And what band was that again? I don't know. Wasn't it like Tokyo? Something like that, yeah?
No, I think it was Beijing.
It's Beijing.
Seoul.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, so what Van Halen should have done, follow me on this.
Okay.
Eddie is like, ooh, music. Nothing wrong with that. He's a great musician. So what he does is, Van Halen takes a break after 1984. They're sounding good. They're at the top of their game. Take a little break. Okay? Solo projects. Go off and do solo projects.
Right.
Eddie Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen should have done what Jeff Beck did. Go off and do a fusion jazz album. Go get Jan Hammer, keyboardist Jan Hammer, who's played with everybody and every guitar player, including Jeff Beck. Go get him and do an album with Jan Hammer.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah.
Go do that. And keyboards and guitar and fusion and whatnot.
Yeah, run wild. Do whatever you want.
Do it like Kiss did it.
Yeah,
see, okay. There are two
album.
bands who did it right, I think.
Okay.
There must have been other bands, but the two bands I remember that did it right. And I know you're a huge Kiss fan.
Oh.
I'm not. I'm not the big Kiss fan that you are. I like some of the stuff. I kind of like later Kiss than earlier Kiss.
Oh.
But then again, their old music now plays. It does play really well. See, I'm surprised we didn't actually cover any Kiss, like shout it out loud or something like that.
Right.
You know.
Kiss Destroyer, Kiss Alive.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't do any of that.
No, we have to talk about that. Yeah.
No, but I'm talking about in the band, like
oh,
when we played.
sure.
I'm surprised we didn't cover a old classic Kiss tune, because that would have been just like a crowd pleaser, you know.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Night.
Mm-hmm. Just not Beth. I already told my story about Beth.
Yeah.
Playing that in a marching band.
Awesome.
I'm just the truth. North Clackamas Junior Marching Band. We'll play Beth. Okay. Whew. Okay. Yeah, well, it's a hit.
Yeah.
You know, so is School's Out for the summer, or whatever. I don't know. Just anything. Fool Around and Felt in Love.
Clackamas Junior Marching Band doing School's Out by Alice Cooper.
How about Fool Around and Felt in Love?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Or the best, you always kill with this one. You always kill with this one in marching band. Paul McCartney and Wings, Live and Let Die.
Right. Da-da-da.
The horn section, man.
Yeah.
Da, 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 I mean, if you see a good marching band or a bugle band, Live and Let Die. Come on.
Yeah.
That's a good chart.
That screams.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But no, Beth. We had to do Beth. That's serious. It's the honest to God truth. That's the thing. And even now, I must have had PTSD from it, because even now, I can't fathom us being in a marching band playing Beth.
Yeah.
But we played Beth.
That's the 70s, man.
Yeah. Band teacher was out getting his funny cigarettes that day when he chose that thing.
Right. Or maybe his girlfriend liked Beth, Okay, honey, we'll do Beth for you.
Yeah. I mean, But these bands, Kiss, the two I can think of, and maybe you can think of more. Kiss and Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Okay.
They both did it right. Now, I'm a huge Emerson, Lake and Palmer fan. Here's what they did. Kiss, they had some albums, and then what did they do? They did a thing where each one of the Kabuki guys did a solo record.
Right.
And even as a kid who wasn't, I was the one kid who Kiss wasn't quite there yet for me or whatever. I thought that was brilliant. I was like, that's cool. And what do they have? A picture of them right there on the cover, right?
Yeah, and with every album came inside of it a poster.
Yeah. So it's like, this is the Ace Frehley record, right?
Which I think personally was the best out of all.
That's what I hear. That's what the people say, is that Ace is, out of all that, Ace Frehley's is the one that's really... Despite the fact that there is a lot of problems with that band, at least then, he was the dude who could really play really well.
Shred, yeah. The problem with the Kiss solo albums, you go from the high of Ace Frehley doing songs on there like Rip It Out and stuff like that, and then you go to the worst one, which in my opinion is Gene Simmons' one, and I'm going to be honest to God with you, he sings When You Wish Upon a Star.
Oh my God.
It is painful. Painful. I love Kiss, but I listen to that and, my little, 9-year-old self was like, why?
Upon a star, I'm Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons, When You Wish Upon a Star. Gene, this is Gene Simmons of Kiss. Gene Simmons of Kiss singing When You Wish Upon a Star. Gene Simmons. He's kind of like... What's the difference between Gene Simmons now and Bernie Sanders? They're kind of like the same. I'm Bernie Sanders. I'm Gene Simmons of Kiss. I'm Bernie Sanders.
But Gene, 9-year-old self was, why, Gene, why? And he's got that grinding voice. When you wish upon, and he tries to get that high note, and it's just, it's cringe.
What is that one album? What is that thing called?
What do you mean?
The solo album.
Yeah, they're just the solo albums. That's what they call them.
They're just called the solo. And were they all released at once or in succession?
All released on the same day.
I'm consulting my... This is Gene Simmons consulting my Kiss expert, Jason Allen. Gene Simmons of Kiss.
Yeah, believe it or not, that was a placating gesture to both Peter Criss and Ace Frehley, because I guess after they did Kiss Alive 2, I guess Frehley and Peter Criss were adamant they wanted out of the band. They were done. Yeah. And so they, you want to do solo albums? We'll all do solo albums and release them on the same day, and everything, will be hunky-dory. Which, both of them kind of, okay, and then they kept them around till, 79 or 80 when Peter Criss left. Yeah.
I've got lists here. I've got lists that we will go over.
Excellent.
But I thought that, but my point is I thought that was brilliant. Like to go, okay, we've made some records. Yeah. Go off, do your little thing on your own records, right?
Right.
Then report back after the summer when you're done.
Yeah, you're going to sell 4 times the albums.
Oh, yeah. 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 So Emerson, Lake and Palmer did a similar thing. Mm-hmm. So there's only 3 of those guys, so they had one less guy, right? Which was perfect. Because get this. So they did a thing called the Works albums. Works Volume 1 and Volume 2. And so what they did is, so they said, okay, we're going to do Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but they're going to be solo albums. So it's like Oprah. You get a side, you get a side, you get a side. So 4 sides, 3 guys. What do you have? You have one side for each guy, and then last side, the band, right?
Okay.
And what was the last side? Fanfare for the Common Man. You probably have heard that, the Emerson, Lake and Palmer version of, with the keyboard.
Right.
That's on there. So, like, first side you get Keith Emerson playing a concerto suite written by another composer, Gina Stara, famous guy.
Yeah.
And then you get Greg Lake, singer-songwriter, singing songs. Hold Your Love Tonight, C'est La Vie is actually a really nice song, comes off of that record. Greg Lake, great voice, great songwriter, great guitarist, too. The late Keith Emerson and the late Greg Lake. I can't believe I said that. It really bums me out that those two guys are gone.
Yeah.
Because I have mad respect for Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. And then the other side, Carl Palmer on the drums. What's he doing? Fusion jazz, big band. There's big band stuff. That side's great, actually. I got to tell you, I like the Carl Palmer side. I mean, he's got some drum solos, but he's got some stuff with a band, like kind of almost kind of like Maynard Ferguson-ish. And then they get together and they do an Emerson, Lake, and Palmer side.
There you go.
Again, I think that works fine. Brilliant. Perfect. Just go off, do your thing. You get your thing, and Kiss, I think, did it perfectly though, with just each dude.
And the marketing of it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to get just one. Mommy, Daddy, I need to get all four. Which I probably did. I need to get all four of them.
You must have.
Yeah.
They were your favorite band, dude, right?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, there must be other bands that did the same thing out there.
Yeah.
But those are the two I remember really well.
Right. Yeah, that's the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. But I'm sure that if I sit down and scour the internet or whatever, I mean, there's going to be others.
So here we go. I want to tell. Okay, so I do need to tell you what my problem is with Kiss. My main problem.
Yeah.
All due respect, whatever. I think the big issue is I was into the drums, right? All that stuff.
Sure.
Peter Criss, not my favorite drummer at
all. No. He was kind of a journeyman drummer.
Yeah.
I guess there's a kind of a hidden tape out there somewhere, or some sort of recording. It was never released, but he did a jazz album. Because I guess his background before Kiss was like swing jazz.
Yeah.
And you hear murmurs of it. I've never come across it, but universally they say that it's the best stuff that he's ever done. He should have done that instead of Kiss. Way better. And I was like, but yeah, you're right. He was, I mean, compared to like Neil Peart,
That's the whole thing when you go, oh, that person really kind of was not doing, and then you find out later it's like, oh, well, they're really a jazz drummer, right? This rock and roll, and you're like, oh, okay. Because jazz drumming, I gotta say, it's a whole different thing, and that's jazz drumming's pretty heavy. I mean, it takes a lot of technique and a lot of skill, and there's a lot of good drummers that can do all sorts of things, but for example, God, everyone we're talking about is dead, recently died.
Yeah.
But for example, like Neil Peart.
Yeah.
He went and started taking lessons from.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, who was it?
He's like the guru of like jazz.
Yeah. And the name escapes me right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't Tony Williams, was it?
I don't know.
Tony Williams is gone. Tony Williams has been dead for a while. But somebody like that. Yeah, I forgot who it was. But Neil Peart, for example, like a few years back, not long ago, like before, later decided to go back, and he's Neil Peart. I think he knows how to play the drums. He did, but he went back to learn jazz technique and all this stuff, So a good example there is how, different techniques, there's great all-around players, but, there's great guys who just like focus on one kind of a thing.
Right.
So it may very well be that Peter Criss was more of a different kind of a drummer and didn't fit that well. But I just know back then in the 70s, I was always listening to drummers, and there were Carl Palmer, right? All these guys, and there were so many good ones. One of my favorite drummers, my first early drummer crush was, I'm not going to make you guess because he was Chicago. Danny Seraphine of Chicago. And if you listen to some of their hits, like
2564.
2564.
Does anybody know what time it is?
Yes. And there's what's that one? I'm So Happy. Whatever. There's another one which has a big drum solo at the beginning. What's funny is I would hear the radio cuts. I go, wow, listen to that drums. That's great. That guy's great. And then you get that full album cut, and you realize they cut his drum solos way down. Like, it's like, oh my God, this sounds like a 30, 45-second drum solo at the beginning of this song that's cut down to like 3 seconds for the radio cut, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Danny Seraphine was like one of the first drummers that I was like, wow, I really like him. And he, to this day, great drummer.
Yeah.
Like, go listen to some of that old Chicago stuff, man. And the drumming, he's just like, ooh. And then, I got into all kinds of other different drummers. But that's the thing. I heard him, and then I'd hear someone like Kiss, and I'd be like, oh, I don't know, man.
It's just Kiss, I mean...
Keith Moon. You'd hear Keith Moon on the classic Who, and you'd be like, wow, man.
Yeah. I mean, even in the 80s, when you had, even in the 70s, Alex Van Halen, not bad.
Yeah, he had some issues too.
Yeah.
He did have some issues.
But Peter Criss was just straight ahead, bread and butter, boring.
Well, I remember hearing his solo, and it was like, people were like, oh, this is great. It's like, I don't know. You ever heard Danny Seraphine of Chicago? That's a little bit more going on there. I didn't like for rock, like then you'd hear Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Carl Palmer. It's like, I posted that on Facebook last week for Songs for the Apocalypse, and it was like the kind of the big finale of part 1 of Carnival 9, which ends in this big, and I wanted to find the filmed live version because that's on the album. I have both albums. I have the live and the and the studio, and the live is a lot longer. And of course, there's a big old Carl Palmer drum solo in the middle of Carnival 9, which is great. And he's got 2 tam-tam gongs. People call them gongs. They're actually tam-tams. He's giant. And he's got a captain's bell that he rings with his... when you watch it, he's actually ringing it, the captain's bell, with his mouth as he's playing. And he's just like, oh, I love that drum solo. That drum solo is burned in my head. I would listen to it like every day. When I was a kid, it would just be like, and of course the whole drum solo goes on for minutes and minutes and minutes, and then come out, and of course it then comes out to welcome back, my friends, to the show that never end, right? Because he's like beating the hell out of the drums, and they blast into the big welcome back, my friends thing.
There you go.
Good bit. Like, really goosebumps, man. But see, the stuff like, I was listening to stuff like that, and then a friend would go, oh, what about Kiss? And I'd be like, I don't know, man. And then I got into like fusion jazz and stuff, and it was all over. Then it was like, it was like any of these guys, Van Halen, any of these guys, it was like, yeah, but here's Billy Cobham over here. It'd be like, sorry, dude. Billy Cobham blows them all away, okay?
Right.
So get this, man. Kiss albums ranked from worst to best.
Okay.
Guess what number 29 is?
The worst one, huh?
Yeah.
I'll say, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Music from the Elder.
No, dude.
No?
You had it in the tips of your fingers. You had it. Number 29 would be Peter Criss, 1978. Worst.
Really? They judged that worse than the Gene... Well, no, Gene Simmons did have that radioactive song. All right.
Oh, radio. Okay. 28. Carnival of Souls, the final sessions, 1997.
Yeah, they mailed that one.
I don't even know that one.
It came out as a later release. It was done in '95 when they were gearing up for the reunion tour.
Yeah, these are all like 27. Kiss Symphony, Alive 4, 2003.
Yeah, I heard it's.
That's like with a symphony, okay, or something.
The Melbourne Symphony.
Yeah, these are all just obscure. I don't even know. 26 Monster, 2012.
Yeah, their last release. Monster.
What's up? Okay, you know which one I like. I mean, I like Look It Up, right? Yeah. And there was another one that I liked that popped up here too, which was from a while ago.
Heaven's on Fire.
Heaven's on Fire. Yeah, I like that one. I mean, those are just like anthem rockers, right? Kiss can do a good anthem rocker. Heaven's on Fire. Psycho Circus.
Yep, 1998.
That's a good one. I gotta find I've got a real funny video. That's pretty interesting that I've never. I'll have to find it. And what's playing in the background is Psycho Circus. Right. Monster 2012. I don't know what Monster. I'm giving you the date when these came out. This is all new. Psycho Circus at number 25. Psycho Circus, 1998.
Yeah.
Oh, the band's original. So that was when the band original lineup?
Yep. Yeah,
Ace Frehley and all of them?
One album they did, but they were, even then, they were so dysfunctional that Peter, Chris, and Frehley are hardly on the album. They use studio musicians.
See, I'm not the expert here at KISS, so that's why I'm. 2 years later, like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, we can go. But 2 years later came Psycho Circus, the first KISS album since '79, to feature Ace Frehley and Peter Criss.
Yep, since Dynasty, yeah.
Chris played on the only... See, that's the ones that I want to rank as the original, ones.
Yeah.
Chris played on only one track, Frehley on two.
Yep.
Paul Stanley later admitted there was no real band. Now I have... Okay, so I told you this... We talked about this before a while, quite some time ago, but I have gone to YouTube, and I don't know if they're... And watched all of the interview Paul Stanley and Ace Frehley YouTube videos where they just go on. I mean, it's like reality TV, how much they hate each other, and so-and-so's a alcoholic and is a this and a that and everything. Oh my gosh. And then Peter Criss has his videos. It's a lot of fun band drama.
Oh yeah.
Okay, number 24, Animalize. 1984.
Really?
Yeah. Which has Lick It Up on it.
Huh.
That was an anthem.
Yeah, I think that would be ranked a little higher than it would have.
Success of Lick It Up continued with the follow-up, Animalize. Oh, no. It doesn't have... Wait. With the follow-up, Animalize was certified platinum.
Yeah.
Biggest band seller since Dynasty. It was also the only KISS album to feature lead guitarist Mark St. John, who joined as a replacement for Vinnie Vincent. Was forced to withdraw from the band during the Animalize tour after contracting writer's syndrome.
Right, and they filled him with Bruce Kulick.
A form of arthritis. So that is not, poor guy, that is not something a guitar player wants. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Best songs on the album were Paul Stanley's Heaven's on Fire.
Mm-hmm. Thrills in the Night.
Thrills in the Night. I remember that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember this one. I mean, it was 84. It's all on MTV. Like, Yep. I mean, they kind of... Yeah, I mean, it was of the time.
Yes.
There's some good stuff from there, and then there's some stuff we're going to look back and go, that was the 80s.
Right.
But, they were doing... I remember it was like, hey, KISS is coming out. They're doing the glam hair metal sound, and good for them.
Drop the makeup. And
Platinum Records. There you go.
Yeah.
Hot in the Shade, 1989. I had never even heard of that.
Yeah, let's see, Rise to It.
Oh, that has Beth on it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, wait, I'm sorry. 14 years after Kiss had the biggest hit single in America with Beth, they returned to the U.S. top 10 with another ballad, Forever.
Yes.
Okay.
Not many people know this. Forever was co-written. It was Paul Stanley and Michael Bolton.
So it says Paul Stanley wrote Forever with Michael Bolton.
Yeah.
And Hide Your Heart with Desmond Child and Holly Knight.
Yep.
An AOR classic, Hide Your Heart, was also recorded in 1989 by Ace Frehley.
Yep. And his Trouble Walking album, yeah.
All right. At number 22, Asylum. God, we got a lot to go through here. 1986.
Tears Are Falling.
Tears Are Falling, man.
Yeah.
I liked that. I thought that was an okay tune. I remember that one. Paul Stanley's Tears Are Falling.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like Paul Stanley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. Here's stuff I liked about Kiss. I thought Paul Stanley was pretty decent frontman, vocals. You know, I thought he did the job.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know.
I mean, Stanley, in the 80s, he pretty much carried Kiss.
Yeah.
Simmons was off doing his movies or whatever, what have you.
Oh, that's right.
And,
Gene Simmons was in movies.
Yeah.
And TV and stuff. That's right.
Yeah.
So Paul Stanley. Tears Are Falling. I remember that one. Number 21, Kiss Unplugged, 1996.
Yeah.
You know what? I've never, ever seen MTV Unplugged Kiss. I've never seen that. And I got to be honest with you, it scares the crap out of me. Kiss is the one band I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer are both fantastic technical players. They are the ones that saved the whole recording. All of it. Simmons and Stanley, Stanley does all right. Simmons is all over the place. But the two, the rhythm section, so to speak.
Let me tell you, Ace Frehley and
yes, first time they got
Peter
back together.
Criss, first time they got back together, played alongside Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick.
Yep.
So that was the big deal. It was like, oh, Kiss Unplugged, and guess what? Here come the other two guys.
Yeah.
They rated that as number 21. I've never seen Kiss Unplugged. Now there's one. God dang.
Yeah.
I've never.
It's not great, but it's not bad.
It's Chernobyl.
You're right.
Not great. Not bad either. Wow. Kiss Unplugged. I'm getting like, really? I didn't even know that they did an Unplugged.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, actually, to be honest. It's like, there's a lot of Unplugged I find out about, and I was like, what? They did an Unplugged?
Yeah. That's what a lot of the bands. You had ones like that made news, like Nirvana.
Yeah, I would say the one that everyone can think of was Nirvana.
Right.
And it was, brilliant. It was like, wow.
Yeah. But, the Kiss one went right under the radar.
Wow. Number 20, God, we got to get through these. Alive 3, 1993.
Yeah, it was okay, not great.
Crazy Nights, 1987.
Yeah. That one, again, is okay. It was done by Bruce Fairburn, sat behind the console on that one. And it's an okay album, but too slick.
Number 18, Music from the Elder, 1981.
That's right.
The band disowned it. The critics panned it. Most Kiss fans hated it, and few bought it. For all that, Music from the Elder is cherished among a small minority of diehard Kiss fanatics who consider it the band's lost classic. This grandiose concept album, was by its own admission Gene Simmons' folly, based on a fantasy tale he'd written and conceived as a soundtrack to a Hollywood movie.
Yes.
As Simmons told Classic Rock, we were convinced that we were making our Tommy, our Sergeant Pepper.
Yeah.
The movie was never made and the album bombed, but in terms of artistry and ambition, there's never been a Kiss album to equal it. before or since.
Right.
Produced by Bob Ezrin, who had worked on the classic Kiss album Destroyer and more recently on Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yes.
Music from the Elder was closest band it ever got to art rock.
Mm-hmm.
It has great songs, including A World Without Heroes, Mr. Blackwell, and Dark Light, all of which were co-written with rock legend. Lou Reed.
Uh-huh.
This is just...
Yeah.
This week on Curmudgeons, we delve into the history of the band Kiss.
Recorded at Ace Frehley's home studio. Frehley, the whole time was like, we can't do this, we can't put this out, this is going to kill us, you know?
Right.
And they just kind of overdid it. Ezrin, later on, they asked him about it. They said, man, how could you... How could you have done music from the Elder?
The producer of Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah, his explanation, you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I was doing a lot of coke at the time.
Well, that's usually the explanation for most things that come out of Hollywood and recording, industry and stuff. It's like, hey, I got it out. I was doing a lot. This was Gene Simmons from Kiss. Had a lot of nose candy at the time. Gene Simmons,
that's right.
Kiss, nose candy. But check it out though. Co-written by Lou Reed.
Yeah.
Well, there's a collaboration that threw me for a loop. Kiss and Lou Reed.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Much like the album that Lou Reed made with Metallica. It was universally panned.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, Kiss and Lou Reed. Yeah.
And while Simmons now describes this album as a product of temporary insanity, there was in that madness something approaching genius. This person really is a Kiss fan who wrote this, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Music from the Elder. Oh.
Elder. Yeah.
Kiss Unplugged and Music from the Elder. Okay. At number 17, Gene Simmons, 1978. There you go, the solo record.
Yeah.
Now, what was a hit or single off of that?
Radioactive.
Oh. For When You Wish Upon a Star from Disney's POV.
Oh. It's painful to listen to.
The best songs he's ever written. Radioactive. Man of a Thousand Faces.
Yeah.
Took the Route 1 approach to the soul, and Simmons went completely off. He enlisted Joe Perry. Oh, so who's on it? Joe Perry, Bob Seger, Donna Summer, his then girlfriend Cher. I remember that. Others on his wish list were unavailable. Lennon and McCartney, and the world's most famous dog, Lassie. Okay. I want to get Lassie on my solo record. Can we get Lassie? Get Bob Ezrin in here. This is Gene Simmons. Just had a wild idea, Bob. I want to get Lassie on the record. This is Gene Simmons. When Gene Simmons wants Lassie on a record, Gene Simmons gets Lassie. Okay?
That's right. When he barks, I'm going to blow fire.
Number 16, Unmasked, 1980.
That was the last one, and it had Peter Criss on the cover. Peter Criss didn't drum at all during it. Believe it or not, the drummer during that album was Anton Fig.
Oh yeah, the great and David Letterman.
Yep.
David Letterman, great drummer. Here, good drummer, great drummer. Like Anton a lot.
It was
David Letterman show. Paul Schaefer.
Album-wise, it was one of those overproduced albums. It was too polished.
Unmasked is a fantastic pop rock album, although Paul Stanley has a different assessment. We lost our balls, he said. Anton Fig and Will Lee, a bass player on the Late Night with David Letterman. And they pop up on a lot of records, including rock records. You see Will Lee play bass on a lot of stuff. I mean, here's the thing. It's Paul Schaefer.
Yeah.
Like, when he put that band together for David Letterman, he's going to get the best because it's Paul Schaefer. Paul Schaefer's a master.
Oh, yeah.
Huge respect. I mean, the original Saturday Night Live band, Paul Schaefer.
Yeah.
Oh, with people like Tom Scott and David Sanborn on saxes.
Yeah.
And also the Blues Brothers band. Like Paul Schaefer and the backing players.
Right. That's right.
Number 15, Dynasty, 1979.
Yeah. Kiss's venture into disco.
Ooh. I vaguely remember this.
I Was Made for Loving You.
Yeah.
Sure know something.
Yeah. At the time, I probably saw him on TV, like not American Bandstand, but something like that maybe, or whatever. Maybe it was Midnight Special. I don't know. I think they did a few videos on television. This is back
they
before
were on a lot
MTV,
with
folks.
Dick Clark. They were on a lot with Dick Clark. For some reason, Dick Clark liked them. Yeah.
Dick Clark liked anybody who was a hit.
Yeah.
Come on. He was a businessman, Dick Clark. You know, he probably listened to Vivaldi when in his car or whatever. He didn't give a crap. Dick Clark was all about the hits.
You know, the funny thing is, back in the day, before, you know, in the days of Napster and stuff like that, you could go out and listen to the tracks that did not make the album.
Yeah.
And I
the
got to tell you,
bootlegs.
the tracks that did not make the album were far better than what they were put in there. They were raw and heavier and not slicked down. It was what Dynasty became. And like, why didn't they just put that in there? You know? Like there's one song, the Peter Criss song, they did some slicker kind of tame song that was on the album, but he did this song that didn't make it. It's called Rumble. And it's actually really, it's a good song, you know, it's heavy. And I was like, man, whoever decided what goes on, what goes off, they really screwed the pooch on this one, you know.
So you know, they bring up a thing. I was going to pass it, but they do bring up a thing here. Timing is everything. In 1979, this is the write-up for Dynasty at number 15.
Yeah.
In 1979, rock fans launched the protest campaign Disco Sucks. At a baseball game in Chicago, a crate filled with offending records, mostly by the Bee Gees, was blown up on the pitch. And in the same year, Kiss put out a disco song. I Was Made for Loving You was a brilliant synthesis of disco and hard rock and a U.S. top 20 hit. Parent album Dynasty reached top 10, but this song was alienated many Kiss fans and precipitated the band's decline in America.
That was the beginning of the end, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I vaguely remember that song because they were on TV a lot, as we proved by the Paul Lynde Halloween special. Kind of like Starship.
Yeah.
You know, Starship would turn up on things like Star Wars Christmas specials, holiday specials and stuff. Kiss was like that. It's like, oh, it's a variety show with Florence Henderson and Kiss and Witchy Poo.
Starship.
Yeah.
Rip Torn.
So I vaguely remember this, but in 79 Kiss releasing a disco was not a good look. Because I remember, I wanted to read that because I remember the disco, everybody had the disco stuff. In fact, I think Zappa had like a disco, there was a picture of him maybe with a Disco Sucks t-shirt on or something.
Yeah.
And that was like the height of, you know, the Bee Gees, Saturday Night Fever, The Hustle. I mean, everything was saturated with disco.
Yeah. Village People. Pointer Sisters.
Village People.
You know.
Yeah. Le Chic.
Yes.
The Nile Rodgers and
Lady Marmalade.
Yeah, and Donna Summer. Yeah, and in hindsight, a lot of these people were actually very talented.
Yes. Yeah.
It just was, you know, it's like one of those things. It was so overly saturated, and I think the deal is disco on FM airwaves had totally displaced everything else. So like rock fans, hard rock fans in the 70s, you know, people who'd like to listen to Kiss or Boston or Leonard Skinner or, you know, you name the band, you know, all of a sudden all that stuff was displaced, and, you know, you turn on your favorite FM station one day and all of a sudden they're playing Donna Summer and the Village People. And you're like, where's my rock and roll? Where's my guitars and my loud, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
so really the whole disco sucks thing was this whole huge backlash against this music that had just been oversaturated. And then what started jumping into popularity then after that? New wave punk.
Yep.
Was almost, I mean, it, you know, like anything, if you put the pendulum one way, it's like, yeah, everything's disco now. Then the pendulum swings this way, and now you've got the Sex Pistols and, you know, really loud 3-chord, you know.
Yep, and then the new wave comes in, and then the antithesis to that is hair metal.
Yep.
So going, and then
the resurgence of metal in the 80s. You know, I would call that like the kind of pendulum swinging from like Flock of Seagulls and all that. All of a sudden it's like, okay, we're going to swing it back. Now we have, you know, Def Leppard, Quiet Riot, you know, Rat, and then heavier stuff, you know, Metallica, Anthrax, you know. Except, and then all the classic bands that came up in the 70s. Here comes Kiss again. You know, here comes Black Sabbath. Here comes all these, you know. It's just like,
of course, of course. Then Ozzy went solo, and he blew up. You know.
Yeah. Everything gets heavy. I mean, Van Halen debuted in 78 or 79. I think it was 70.
78.
Yeah. You know, so all that was kind of the cards get heavy again after disco, and then I like new wave to me is like disco punk. I mean, I don't know how much really punk got top 10 airwaves as much because it was too hardcore and too heavy. I mean, like those bands were all pretty much college underground bands, Talking Heads, you know.
REM.
Yeah, one artist that really crossed over, interestingly enough, really well was Debbie Harry, was Blondie, because remember, she came from that punk CBGB's thing,
right?
And all of a sudden she's doing disco records and stuff and became a disco diva.
Yep.
But I think a lot of that really harder core stuff, even the early Police and all that, that was like more college radio and underground radio.
Vendetta Mandata.
Yeah. And then I think the new wave stuff kind of crept in, which was a little bit more, what would you say, a little more palatable to the top 10 ear. Little bit more palatable to the top 10 ear.
Right.
And if you think about it, kind of that new wave and that synthesizer and more dance grooves, it was kind of like the punk, simplistic punk.
It's
mixed
punk,
with jazz, not jazz, I'm sorry, mixed with disco.
Right, and to me it's like punk and easy listening.
Well, I think it's like punk, take kind of the simplistic ideals of punk, and then put it with the danceable, what had come in the late 70s, the disco, put them together, you kind of have that new wave. You kind of have that Flock of Seagulls and all that stuff, you know? I mean, Talking Heads became like a dance band, really.
Yeah.
I mean, all their stuff became this groove dance.
I remember when they were like really avant-garde, you know, college stage.
Yeah.
You're right. They went mainstream.
You know, the Police too. They moved from their earlier, more hardcore, like their first album, which is a good one, by the way.
Roxanne, Walking on the Moon.
That's their second album, but Roxanne and what's that B-side on that record? Actually, the whole record's real good, and it's just like a real. It's pretty much recorded. It's almost like a demo. I mean, it's real rough, not a lot of production, but it has all those ideals of that kind of punk coming out of London, and you know, and then they really got slick and.
Same thing with U2. Their first album.
Yeah. Good album too.
Things like Boy, right?
Yeah.
I Will Follow.
Yeah. See, I liked that stuff. Like, I remember hearing U2 when they first came out. Like, I was like, I'm liking this sound, you know. And it was new. It was like, that's new. You hear that, kid? You hear that, kid? That's new. Oh, it's new.
My favorite, though, are you ready for this?
What?
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yeah. Well, they're like into the, you know, they're like kind of the reggae ska stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like stuff like that, it would be like, you know, and then that whole thing came, and that was kind of the grooving thing. Oh, here we go. Next to You, the opening track, So Lonely. That's the first Police album. Those are just all good rockers. Mm-hmm. Can't Stand Losing You.
Okay.
That's a good one. Yeah, I would say the big ones on that are, of course, Roxanne and Next to You, So Lonely. So Lonely's kind of down in the reggae kind of ska beats, and Can't Stand Losing You. Yeah. That's one that they played forever. You know, I can't stand losing. I can't. You know, it's just a rocker, just a simple rocker.
Sure.
Okay, back to Kiss.
All right.
Back to Kiss after they did their See, Kiss should have done a punk album after Dynasty. 1980. Gene Simmons should have put like safety pins in his ears, you know.
Sure.
I mean, he was already spitting the blood, so.
Yeah, why not?
Except with Kiss, it was fake blood. With the Sex Pistols, it was real blood.
Yeah, never mind the bollocks. Here Comes Kiss.
Yeah. Number 14, Paul Stanley, 1978, his solo record.
Again, okay. There were some decent songs on it, and there's some...
I'm telling you, this person really likes Kiss. They were like with you. Tonight You Belong to Me is a sensational song with an intense emotional charge.
Yeah.
Number 13, Revenge, 1992.
Yep. First one with Eric Singer. When after Eric Carr passed away.
Yeah.
This is where they went heavy again. Dedicated
to the memory of Eric Carr.
Yeah.
The drummer who had served Kiss for 10 years before succumbing to cancer.
Yeah,
November 24th, 1991. I vaguely remember that. Yep. The day that Freddie Mercury also died. Eric Carr died. Wow. Yeah. Kiss's most underappreciated record. Mm-hmm. Former Black Sabbath drummer Eric Singer in place of Carr, and producer Bob Ezrin.
Yep.
Back for a third time.
Solid album, not bad.
Well, it's at number 13, Heavier Sound. That's good. See, I definitely think when I think Kiss, I want to think heavier sound. Mm-hmm. Like if Gene Simmons came to me and said, disco version of When You Wish Upon a Star, what do you think? What do you think? I'd say, Gene, Bob might approve that, but Doc does not. I want a heavier sound. A bottom end and a heavier sound. Gene, that's what you do well.
That's right.
Sonic Boom at number 12, 2009.
It was their first album with Tommy Thayer, and after a long layoff. Yeah.
Yeah. Guitarist Tommy Thayer made his debut on Sonic Boom.
Yep.
He even sang lead on one track. As did Eric Singer.
Yep.
Tommy Thayer, what band did he come? What?
Black and Blue.
Of course. Mm-hmm. Of course. Black and Blue. I'm like, Tommy Black and Blue.
That's right. Hold on to 18.
Lake Oswego, Oregon.
That's right.
Have a nice day. Yeah, Tommy Thayer from Black and Blue. Well, okay, that's one thing I did appreciate. That's one thing I liked about Kiss in the later years, like in going to the 80s and stuff. It's like, yeah, do what you're doing. Those other guys, whatever, having them guest appear or whatever. But it's basically Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, okay? And then go out and get the best young drummer.
Yep.
And the best young hot guitar player. And just Kiss. There you go. And go on tour and stuff. And if that doesn't work out, you can get rid of them and get the next, the other neck, because there's going to be all these young guys who are kicking ass, right? On the drums and on guitar. And any of them will get a gig with Kiss. And knowing that they're good businessmen, they'd probably be like, well, you're playing with Kiss, so you're going to make you know, you're going to make rate here, right? Rate. Musicians rate.
All
Just the rate.
of them, yeah. Salaried, hired guns.
Yeah, salaried rate. Think of the promotion. Think of what you're going to do. You know, sell some guitar strings to make some extra cash. Right. Gene Simmons, I'm giving you some advice, kid. No, but, you know, I mean, but even then, you know, a young guy, hungry guy who's really hot is going to go play with Kiss and be like, okay. Or just get a name dude, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they cost too much money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Thayer, Black and Blue. Thank you for that.
That's right.
Yeah. I won't ask on the live stream. Okay. Number 11. Lick It Up, 1983.
Yep. Kiss's comeback album, Vinnie Vincent.
Yep. Yeah, Vinnie Vincent. Yeah.
If you look at the cover, and there is no real artwork, it's just a white cover with Kiss standing there.
Yep.
Very bread and butterish. This was their after Creatures of the Night did not sell well.
Yeah.
Basically, and this is also when Casablanca was bought out by Polygram. And basically Polygram said, we're not going to put any money into this album, and oh yeah, if it doesn't sell, we're going to drop you. So this was their last gasp. It was Lick It Up. And they brought in Vinnie Vincent, who I'm going to say something very controversial right now. He saved Kiss. Every song on the album is co-wrote by Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah. I mean, I remember when the album came out, 83. I mean, this was like everything was hair, band. I mean, as far as FM airplay, MTV goes, you know, like I said, the more hardcore bands and even older, more hardcore bands, they were getting a resurgence too. They may or may not get airplay now. FM, FM radio stations that turn. See, this is so weird because you're talking about FM radio stations and MTV airplay, not like internet streaming and YouTube videos and stuff, which it's a whole different landscape now. But back then, it was still who's playing on the airwaves, what format did that station turn to, right?
Yeah.
Because that station in 1979, that was the all disco Saturday Night Fever Bee Gees station, by 1983 had turned to, Welcome to Rock from Hell.
Right. That's right.
Your hits, right?
Yep.
And then stuff like this would play on it, it's a new Kiss album, look it up.
Right.
But yeah.
1209 on your radio dial, here's Kiss. Lick It Up.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember when that happened, and it was like, wow, Kiss is getting in the fold too of what's happening right now, and they're sounding good. They're looking. I mean, there's a picture of from the video, and they're all like, they've got the uniform on at the time. You wear the uniform, the ripped up clothes.
Yep. Torn up jeans and bandanas.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Spandex, dude, spandex.
Oh yeah, I had a box of that one somewhere. I didn't save it. What's the point, really? Like, old girlfriends would go through, what is this part? What is this? Yeah, it was the 80s.
Right.
Should be a tax write-off. They were professional clothes.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, Vinnie Vincent. He was good. I remember when everyone was like, "Damn, Kiss sounded pretty good." Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. So that's at number 11. Number 10, Hotter Than Hell, 1974.
Yep. Second album, very raw album. Part of it was they kind of did it when they were on tour. Part of it was recorded in L.A. and then the rest was in New York, and it's very, very raw sound.
Their heaviest song, Parasite, was later recorded by Anthrax.
Yep.
And Gene Simmons' twisted ballad, Going Blind.
Yeah. The the lyrics on that one. Holy cow! That's
I'm 93 and you're 16. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going. Right. That's an acid trip right there.
As we could say, in 2020, Kiss is problematic.
Oh, hey.
Gene Simmons is problematic.
And Going Blind was done on their Unplugged album too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was one of their. It is one of their tracks, right?
Yeah.
The ants are down here. The ants heard about the. I'm like doing all this stuff. The ants heard about the lockdown in place here, so they've decided they want to get on YouTube too. Ants. Number 9, Love Gun, 1977.
Yep.
That was their 6th album. That was like a big record, right? That was like...
Yeah, that was when they were at the zenith of their, right before Kiss Alive 2. I mean, 77, that was...
Yeah.
That's when they were at their highest.
It was also the last Kiss album to feature the full original lineup on every track.
Right.
I remember when that came out. This is 77. 77 was a banner year for lots of like big albums, movies. Of course, the one movie everyone remembers is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Dude, it is an ant invasion down here.
Holy cow.
Oh yeah. Like they're all over the place. I don't know where they're coming from. I'm gonna have to hit. I've got the chemical. I just didn't think. Anyway. Okay. Rock and Roll Over, 1976.
Yeah. That was the second album of the year. It came right after Destroyer.
Yeah.
Pretty solid album, yeah.
Stanley wrote Hard Luck Woman with Rod Stewart in mind.
Right.
Calling
Dr. Love.
Calling Dr. Love is on that one.
Yep.
See, I remember that. I mean, that was always the one was Kiss and it's like, Calling Dr. Love.
Calling Dr. Love, Ladies Room, Christine 16, I think it was Love Gun.
Yeah, they don't have it. They don't have it listed here. Christine 16.
Yeah.
Another problematic song by Gene Simmons. Dude, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just like can't fathom that now. Which you think about, it's like, why should you? But it's like, I think it was more like, well, I can't get in. Yeah, how do you? I mean, if you're a teenager and you're listening to Kiss, and you're singing Christine 16 because you maybe are 16, then kind of works out, right?
Yeah, they're singing to their audience, in other words.
You're not like thinking of Gene Simmons.
Right.
Oof.
Gene, you're 34. What are you doing, dude?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I know. It's so weird out there. I mean, I'm not like, justifying it at all,
Right.
Okay. So, number 7, Dress to Kill, 1975.
Yep. Their album, let's see here, Room Service, Rock and Roll Night, Come On and Love Me.
Rock Bottom?
Rock Bottom, yeah.
The one that, is that rock, that one that, was it like, is that like Sammy Hagar or?
No,
wait, Rock Bottom? What am I thinking of?
Rock Bottom.
Rock Candy. I bet you're thinking of Rock Candy.
That's Montrose.
That's what I was thinking of.
Early Hagar, yeah.
My mind is all messed up. I see Rock Bottom and I'm like, is that like Montrose at the brew pub?
Right.
Rock Bottom? Yeah. It's like, no, you're old, your brain cells are misfiring. It's not the Rock Bottom brew pub and you're not listening to Montrose.
Right.
Rock Candy.
Rock Candy.
That's the one, right?
Yep.
The Montrose too. Okay. Yep. With Sammy Hagar on it.
Yep.
Okay.
Quick aside, Rock Candy is the very first song Sammy Hagar ever wrote.
Is it really?
It is, yeah.
That I didn't know. I did not know that. That's a good song.
It's a solid riff.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Dressed to Kill, 75 and 78. Number 6, they rate number 6, Ace Frehley, 1978.
Yep, my opinion, best out of the 4 solos.
And all the time growing up and stuff, that's what everybody said. Every Kiss fan was like, yeah, I can do without this. We'll put the Ace Frehley album.
Yep. Because I think at that time, I mean, Stanley and Simmons, you always knew they were running the show. And so when they were doing just pure Kiss albums, Frehley had to do, all he had to work with was his little solo, before or after the bridge. And this was the first time he kind of was able to have creative control for an album. And you can tell he is a very good guitar player if you just let him play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, so that to me was always like, again, to me, Kiss at the end of the day is kind of, I mean, it is the 4 guys in a way, but without, it's still like you kind of think, okay, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons. And then it's like, just work the dudes around you. Get a hot guitarist, get a hot drummer.
Yep.
You got a band. Write songs, maybe write the songs get a hot guitar player who's got some hot ideas for some songs, co-write some songs with them, but you got to pay them, then, figure it out, right?
Right, yeah.
He had a top 20 hit with a breezy version of the Russ Ballard song New York Groove.
Yes. Back in the New York Groove. Yeah.
Hard rockin' record, flashes of his goofball humor.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, number 5, Creatures of the Night, 1982.
Yes, after the debacle that was known as Music from the Elder, they decided to get back to basics and just release just a hard rock album. War Machine is on that. I Love It Loud.
Oh, I Love It Loud. I remember that one.
And
vaguely, yeah.
It's not a bad album. It's actually it's one of the few of that era in '82 that holds up. And but sadly the album did not sell well, and that was their last album that had in makeup.
So 82, Ace Frehley had quit. His appearance on this album's cover was purely to reassure fans as the band's popularity waned. Behind the scenes, several guitarists auditioned. Amazingly, Eddie Van Halen was briefly in the frame. In the end, the job went to Vinnie Vincent, who co-wrote and recorded 3 tracks.
Yep.
And it says the drum sound on it is as big or bigger than John Bonham's.
Yeah, they made
That's
it
good.
sound like cannons,
Oh yeah.
Firing. It's good.
You can't, if you want something big and like go with the John Bonham sound on the drums, man.
Right.
Always be good. Well, so like they did the disco record and then the Elder record, and then they were like, okay, we need to get back to basics here.
Pendulum swing
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. So it was either that or Gene put some safety pins in your nose. No.
That's right. Except I think their version would have been like Burbank Calling or something like that instead of London Calling.
There you go.
Yeah.
Number 4, Kiss from 1974. So this was the original album.
Yeah, the one that started it all. Cold Gin, Strutter, good stuff.
Firehouse, Deuce.
Yep.
Nothing to Lose, 100,000 Years, and Black Diamond.
Yep. All of them are Kiss staples, during their live show.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Peaked on the U.S. charts at 87.
Yeah.
But it stands alongside Aerosmith, Montrose, and Van Halen as one of the classic debut albums that built American hard rock in the 1970s.
Yep.
Huh? Yeah, Aerosmith. Yeah. Number 3, Alive 2, 1977.
Yeah. Not as good as Alive, but solid.
Yeah. Does that have a big drum solo on it?
Yes.
That's probably the one I heard that I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I wasn't excited.
Yeah. And the
Also, the other thing is I remember hearing this. Somebody played it for me, the record, and is the sound quality okay on it?
A lot of overdubbing on it.
It didn't seem like the sound quality was very good. This was when I was a kid. I'm bringing back a memory, not like something I listened to yesterday, but...
Yeah.
Number 2, Alive, 1975.
Classic, yeah. Back then there wasn't many, 75, there wasn't many live albums out there. And that was, Casablanca was going down the tubes, the record label. This is pre-Village People. And
or as we say back in the 70s, up the nose.
Right. And they were told, why can't you create an album that sounds as good as you guys live?
Yeah.
In the studio, and so they decided, okay, let's just put out a live album, go for broke, and there you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 75. I think that was kind of like mid-70s. That was when like a lot of bands started releasing live records.
Yeah.
Because I know in that time frame, a year or two before that, like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes, they all released live records. I mean, other bands too.
Right.
If you went through, you probably would see a whole bunch of live records coming out in that mid-70s.
Yeah, after Kiss, the whole dam broke. I mean, you had everyone from Emerson and Palmer to the Commodores.
Yeah.
Live album.
Well, I wonder if one of the things I wonder if partially, the technology, the recording technology, had really matured by then.
Yeah.
Compared 10 years before, like in the mid 60s. I mean, the recording technology was like night and day.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, at that point in the mid 70s, you have bona fide like recording trucks.
Mm-hmm. Whereas before it was just a reel-to-reel off the soundboard.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of think, and more like the bands that were doing more live albums that were more sophisticated, like in the 60s, late 60s, the ones that come to mind are Grateful Dead, which was known for their live recordings, and Pink Floyd. I think Pink Floyd had some early, but they were like, multi-track recording decks had just kind of come online. I mean, late 60s, you still got like Hendrix and you got the Beatles and like bands recording on 4 tracks and dubbing and stuff like that.
The funny thing about that is you mentioned Hendrix. Yeah. And when he opened, Electric Ladyland there in New York, I guess it was the first time where it went up to like, he had like a 16 track or something like that.
Yeah.
And it blew everybody away. It's so innovative for the time. And, of course now it's who knows how many tracks.
Right. It doesn't matter. You're not dealing with tape anymore.
Yeah, but he was innovating.
No, that you're right, because like something like 8 or 16 tracks in a studio in the late 60s to early 70s would just be like, whoa, this is Christmas. And if you think about it, again, 75, the mid 70s, mid to late, you're thinking disco and that sort of thing. In the recording studios themselves, they're having like 24 tracks and stuff like that now. Because if you look at like one thing that the disco era did was tons of recording technology, because those things were layered, tons of layered overdubbing and tracks. And rock bands that took advantage of that would have been like Queen, for example.
A real full sound.
Yeah, maybe bands like Journey, Boston, probably really, poster child.
Trio. power trio stuff. Rush a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see, Triumph.
Yeah. But I'm talking about when, like, music groups and producers who went in and used a crap ton of tracks in the studio, tape tracks,
Yeah.
I mean, the tapes are getting to be like 2 inches now, and then they're like, if they needed more tracks, you had 2-inch tape decks that were synced together with a big serial cable that would run in sync. So I'm saying, like, by the mid 70s there, that kind of technology had trickled into remote trucks. That was a good one. I wish I could put echo on that. Bless you.
Yeah, I wish I'd have four
Bless
knowledge.
you.
Zoom time.
But but that technology would be just like get into those remote trucks. So being able to do like a Kiss Alive in 1975, the technology was there to really truly capture that live performance.
Right.
So I mean, I often really love records from bands that were recorded live in the 70s with that, because they're good recordings. The technology is there to capture it decently, so it sounds good, and then it's also live, so it has all the energy of the performance and the audience, and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, a lot of my favorite records from rock bands in that period are the live records. I mean, the studio records are nice, but you go back to the studio record and then you're like, boy, but the audience isn't there, and the musicians, the energy's not there. But on the live record, the energy's there.
Right. Yeah.
So that's interesting. It doesn't surprise me that Kiss's live albums are the almost the highest ranked. I mean,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So number 1 is Destroyer, 1976.
Bob Ezrin, of course, Detroit Rock City, Beth.
Detroit Rock City, sure.
Yeah. Shout It Out Loud.
Shout It Out Loud, yeah. See, the ones that someone like me, a neophyte, someone who's not as well versed in Kiss, I still would know those songs. It's like, oh,
sure.
Yeah.
And of course, remember the artwork, it's still one of the most popular album covers.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot of, the one thing about Kiss is they were a marketing machine.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, their whole thing with the look and the marketing and all of that, that's sold the record. Yep. I mean, it's kind of funny because certainly as a rock and roll band, which is like you want kids to walk in, back in those days, see a record on a shelf and go, I want that. I want to buy that. Without hearing it, it's like, that looks good to me. I want to buy it, right?
Yeah.
Kiss was definitely that.
Oh, Kiss was always a visual band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whether in concert or album covers. I mean,
right.
That's what sold.
Yeah. You want to walk in and have a kid go, I want to hear that. I want to get that. Right. It takes it back to Miles Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Who said something very similar. Actually, it wasn't in the recent documentary that I know. They do talk about it, but I don't think they talk about it. It is in his autobiography where he talks about going to jazz clubs back in the day when he was younger, working with people like Charlie Parker and those guys, Dizzy, and, in the bebop era.
Yes.
And he's like, we'd go out and go see shows, right? And go see other musicians when we're not working, go into clubs, see what's going on, get ideas what they're playing. He said, I would walk in, and if I saw guys on the stage that just didn't look, they weren't dressed well, they didn't look good, I would walk out.
Right.
This is Miles Davis saying this.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I want to see guys who are because the guys who are, to me, in my mind, that are going to play are the guys who are going to look like they're going to play. Like, it's going to be the whole thing. And if you think about Miles Davis as a performer, well, there's one thing no matter what era it was, he changed his look through the eras, especially in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. What was one thing he did? He always looked. He always was Miles Davis, whether it's like in the early days in the 50s, he's young playing bebop, and he's wearing the nicest suits and stuff, looking really sharp.
Oh, yeah.
In the 60s, when he sees Sly Stone and stuff and starts wearing flashy 60s stuff. In the 80s, he's wearing all kind of the Funky Town kind of stuff, like when I saw him.
Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff.
Yeah. He always was, you know, his look was important. I mean, his music was of paramount importance, but to him, part of that was to look like you're going to play, like almost like it gets you in the psychology of it. And I always understood, before I read his autobiography and I read that, I always understood two things. One, I understood the people who are glam, who are marketed. It's like, you know, maybe this person can't really sing or they can't really play or whatever, but they look good, you know.
Right.
I mean, they're popular. You know, we want to see them sing and dance and stuff. You know, they're a performer. Yep. Maybe they don't have to be the best singer or whatever, but they look great.
Yeah.
You know,
i.e. Kiss.
Yeah. You know, and. But then there's the serious artist, the serious musician. They don't have to look good. They can look like crap, but oh boy, this person's a virtuoso, right?
Right.
Well, that's kind of always, I thought, the separation, you know? It's like I don't have to worry about my look when I'm over here playing this music because we're serious.
I am an artiste.
But when I'm over here playing in the rock band, like everyone's like, hey, your look's got to be on point because these kids aren't going to dig it if you don't look good, right?
Right.
That was always the philosophy when I was growing up, kind of, or at least in my head. And then I read the thing about Miles Davis, and I was like, a very serious musician who's saying, no, the look is part of the deal.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of got from that, like, okay, that's kind of the psychology of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, and maybe, you know, if you're a serious musician, whatever, you still got to think about your look of what you're doing, you know. And Miles worked with some of the greatest, you know, the youngest musicians. He mentored some of the great jazz, modern jazz, fusion guys, and he would get on them and he'd be like, you know, I want my band to look good on stage. Right. Herbie Hancock, all those guys would be like, you know. So it's kind of interesting psychology there.
Yeah.
But it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll look the part.
Well, and as you get up through the 60s and of course into the 70s, you were on TV more.
Oh, yeah.
So music became
visual.
Visual, right.
Well, that was the thing, like by the 80s when we're doing all this stuff, right? Then it was MTV. It was music television, right? So it was like you had the FM radio, but really you were listening to music on video, and you were wanting to consume those videos. And when it, you know, it could be a concept video where it was like, you know, some dramatic thing played out to the song, but especially with rock and roll, even if it was that, you'd have to cut to the band playing at some point.
Right.
You know, it would always suck in, especially rock. Like a rock band, like if you didn't have the band playing and you're looking at the band, you know, jamming out, you know. And oftentimes in a rock video, you could just have the band playing and have other stuff going on around it.
Right.
But then it became really important. But I don't know. But it's also important for serious. Yep. I'm just saying, I mean, like I said, Miles Davis.
Yeah. Miles.
Well, wow, it's always good to do a show that you don't know what you're doing, and we just did a deep analysis of the band Kiss.
Kiss. With Gene Simmons.
All their records. Yeah, we should wrap it up. You mentioned earlier, I mean, there was this drummer who just died. People are like King Crimson, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, R.E.M.
Ministry, Nine Inch Nails. Yeah. Bill, how did you say his last name? Riflin?
Yeah. I have to get
Bill Riflin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what a drag.
What a drag.
Yeah. But anyway, I didn't expect to be rating Kiss records, but it's interesting. Actually, I find it interesting because, like I said, I'm not an expert. Next week next time we can rate Emerson, Lake and Palmer records or something.
Right. I'm definitely.
Or Miles Davis or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it'll be like, but Doc, I love Bitches Brew.
Bitches Brew's pretty good.
Yeah. It's still my favorite of those Kind of Blue.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
Freddie Freeloader.
That's one of his. Oh yeah. That's of course one of his greatest well-known records. But I mean, Bitches Brew is great. There's a lot. In fact, like now, a lot of tracks are being released and stuff. In fact, I just listened to a new Miles Davis record, which was from the In a Silent Way sessions. It was just released a few months back for like a record store day thing. And it was like, what's this? It's like, new Miles Davis In a Silent Way. So all these tapes that are being re-released. And Bitches Brew, I love Bitches Brew, but my favorite in that time frame is In a Silent Way, the In a Silent Way sessions. And that's, again, nothing against Bitches Brew, but In a Silent Way, I put that thing on for like mellowing out after parties and stuff, and it's because it's a little more mellow, kind of, so it kind of just flows. I realized that a lot of that music is kind of influences kind of the electronica and that kind of stuff. Some of that Miles Davis. It was like, oh yeah, it does. I think that was in that documentary actually, where they brought up and they said, hey, look at all this music, like electronic music, this kind of chill, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Listen to this stuff from the late 60s, early 70s, Miles Davis. Guess what? All those grooves and all that kind of like funk groove with kind of free jazz and all this stuff. You're hearing it there, and then you see it later, in the 90s and the 2000s, like, dang, they're right about that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Anyway, but I don't know. We should probably go off. Bugger off. We should probably bugger off.
Right. I hear the bathroom calling.
Jason, I hear the bathroom calling, and I don't mean just a trickle.
Beth, is that you?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to I was just going to check the news just in case we got something breaking. I mean, it's all bad news. But keep it up. But we're going to be back, right? We'll be back.
Sure.
We'll be back soon. Sooner rather than later. Now that I'm getting all my files organized.
I'm thinking probably, Friday?
At least, yeah. We could even probably... I'm getting better and better about firing stuff up quickly now that I'm getting organized. And you got your webcam working really well.
Right.
Really well. So that's looking good. Now you got the light on you, so you're kind of like looking a little Dexter-ish, I think.
Right.
By bathroom, I mean I've got 3 people tied up in my spare room.
Oh my God, I'm giving off that kind of vibe.
Well, it's just it's getting dark and the lighting.
Right. Yeah.
We'll go earlier.
Yeah, I get it. Well, I didn't want to. I got another light, and I didn't want to kind of turn it on because I didn't want the glare. Here, I'll turn it on really quick.
Oh, that's okay. Oh. Yeah. No, that's a little too much.
Right. Yeah. So okay. I'll play around with some lighting here and see if we can get when the sun goes down, sort of.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna you know what? I'm just going to put up the graphic and play us out.
Alrighty.
Does that sound good?
Sounds peachy keen.
If I can, I got to do it the other way. Oh, no, I can do it this way. Hang on. I want to fade it in.
Oh. As we ride off into the sunset.
Yeah. I think this will work. All right. We'll see you soon, very soon. Back at it. Stay in place. Stay safe and stay healthy, please.
Amen.